Yeah, we'll clear it out.
Go, Dave.
We're over capacity already.
That's what that TV is for, right? So that they can just go outside.
I didn't notice it.
He's-
We're gonna do it.
He said Danny hooked it up.
All right, meeting call to order is now Tuesday, July 19th. It is now 7:06 p.m. Town council meeting in Town Council Chambers, 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island. Ed, will you lead us in prayer?
Sure will. Dear Lord, we ask that you please watch over this great union, the United States, and also in particular this great state of West Warwick, this great town of West Warwick and Rhode Island, and in particular our great citizens here. We ask that you help guide this council in making wise decisions, informed decisions, and always with a little bit of compassion. Amen.
And before we move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to take a moment of silence. If anybody knows, Tom Iannitti, he was the former director of the Senior Center. He had passed away a little over a month ago, and unfortunately his wife, Linda Iannitti, had just passed away this week, last week also. So we can take a moment of silence. Thank you. Angel, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was one of the best Pledge of Allegiance I heard in a long time.
Loud.
Councilman Tucker,
Here.
Councilman Kenahan,
Here.
Councilman Padula,
Here.
Council Vice President Giroux,
Yes, here.
Council President Goslin.
Here.
There is a quorum. Citation for Cal Ripken All-Stars 9 and 11-year-old state champions, sponsored by Council President Goslin.
All right, as anybody has read the paper or been on Facebook or anywhere in the town of West Warwick, we have two teams that have won the Rhode Island Cal Ripken State Championship, which is the 9-year-old and the 11-year-old teams.
Yeah.
The 9-year-olds are strolling in now, as you can see. Yeah, these guys had 3 games, and within those 3 games, they put up 45 runs.
Wow. Yeah.
Their manager, Paul Moretti, who's not here. Their manager, Paul Moretti, who's not here because of a conflicting basketball game down at River Point. But Coach Sean Wallard and Coach Rob Pettis. I got a citation here, and I'm going to read it based upon on the managers and coaches first. Resolved that the West Warwick Town Council commends Paul Moretti, Mr. Wallard, and Rob Pettis for a highly successful season as a manager for the West Warwick Cal Ripken and coach of the 9-year-old All-Star Division, as where you and your team have earned the title of the 2016 state champions. Your dedication, inspiration, and hard work has made possible this extraordinary achievement. You missed a word there. Now, therefore, the team coaches and team members are to be congratulated for their fine sportsmanship and team spirit, which played a large role in their successful season, leading to becoming the 2016 Cal Ripken All-Star State Champs. Be it further that the West Warwick Cal Ripken All-Stars coaching staff be commended for their guidance and support which they gave the team members to develop those qualities of character essential for the success as members of the West Warwick Cal Ripken All-Star team. Now, therefore, the Town Council of the Town of West Warwick is honored to extend their appreciation, gratitude, and congratulations to Manager Paul Moretti and coaches, and call upon the citizens of the town to congratulate and wish the success in the future. So, good job, coaches. And now, who made it all happen? Are these young gentlemen in front of me? No ladies, huh? Not this year, I think. Is there any left after my daughter graduated? First, let me announce the 9-year-olds. Dominic Carollo, Max Costello, Tyler Garofalo, Mark Grover, Joshua Pettis, James Prue, hey James, Joseph Rivera, Owen Stearns, hey Owen, didn't I see you Sunday? Where is he? Oh, there you are. Julian Threats and Mason Waller. They're all stars. Now, Mr. Stearns, I saw you Sunday, and you told me, I told you to bring your canning jar. Did you bring that?
I didn't bring home.
Open your hat.
Well, I promised you. I promised you I would take care of you, and Councilman Giroux said he's going to match me, so you could tell him what that is. These young gentlemen are doing a fundraiser.
Here, get over here.
So,
Promise is a promise.
so these young gentlemen are actually going to New Hampshire,
40, 60, 80,
and they're doing a fundraiser. These young gentlemen have to raise $5,000 within 2 to 3 weeks when they're going to New Hampshire and to represent the town of West Warwick up in New Hampshire in the regional tournament. So good luck, gentlemen, and give it all you have, okay?
Good job, guys.
They can stay, if they want to stand over there and watch that.
Hey, so you guys all know this is being streamed right now, live.
Yeah, you can go home
So
and
you
watch
got
it if
people.
you want.
So you can go back on. You're on TV. Well, not on TV. On,
Go on a
the
computer
computer.
later, you can watch it.
And have your mom or dad help you out, and you can see yourselves on TV. So wave. Is there a red light? Wave over at the camera so everybody sees you. There you go. Okay.
And Mr. Stearns,
job.
make sure you give that 100 or 200 to your coach.
I thought they were going to Toys R Us.
It's on the internet. So you can go on the internet. You can see it on an iPad. So ask your mom. Good job.
Sorry. I was only kidding, but
I was supposed to give that to my wife.
No coffee tonight, Giroux.
No, not for a while.
how are you?
I don't have the hundred in my pocket.
No, they're not going anywhere. Again, the coaches and the managers for the 11-year All-Stars, they had a come-from-behind victory. What was it, the last game, Dave? You guys were down by how many runs?
It went back and forth.
And it was a teeter-totter game, and all of a sudden West Warwick came in control and won it in the end. This is the 11-year-old All-Stars. The managers are Dave Lombari, Chris Griffin, and Gary Glenn. And again, thank you for your hard work and dedication. The 11-year-olds, due to vacations and stuff like that, they're going to be representing us in Massachusetts, Dayton, Mass. But then they've opted out not to go to the regionals because they will not have enough players and short notice also. But the players are Billy Costello, Reese David, Matt Dennison, Devin Glenn, Brendan Griffin, Dylan Lombari, Drew McCoy, Caden Mitchell, Aaron Perry, Nick Pettis, Nick Petrangelo, and Jesse Principe. So congratulations, guys. As anybody knows, I think anybody who's coached kids and has done that for many years, I know I'm a coach. I'm with the Babe Ruth League. I see a lot of these kids come up through the Babe Ruth League. I've also coached in Cal Ripken. If everybody knows, coaching is a lot of dedication. It's no longer just teaching a kid baseball. It's giving rides. It's getting kids to play, keeping them occupied, keeping them off the streets, and having fun. And at the end of the day, when you look at a child who started in April and you look at where they are in July, you as a coach see the drastic improvement that each and every kid has done in the Cal Ripken League. So, again, thank you for the leagues, the league support, the town support of the fields, so on, and keep up the good work. And guys, enjoy the rest of your baseball season. I hope you do wonderful in Dayton. And the 9-year-olds, I hope you do take it home in the regionals and and you can go national, and we can have a lot of fun there too. All right. Thank you again, and good luck.
Before you take off, wave to the camera, guys. You're going to be streaming. Wave, that's it. Wave to the camera. All right, good job.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is he here? And Angelo has one presentation.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a second to clear out.
Oh, these kids are awesome. I know all of them. You know, I played against half of them this year. Some of them gave me a beating.
Yep.
They're going, they're traveling, they're gonna have fun. Oh, yeah, right.
I told him the other day, I told him the other day when I saw him at Jerry's and I take care of him.
You're lucky I had I had $100 in my pocket.
You want me to say something, or you just gonna?
I'm gonna present it.
Jerry's watching us.
Oh, Jerry's like, you just he told me he had no money.
Oh, yeah, Giroux, he's crying all the way now. Oh, yeah. Look, he's trying to find his first communion money. He did.
I'm getting a new car.
Yeah. Minus $100.
Okay, Angelo, you have
All
one.
right, yes. This citation I'm going to present to tonight, James Burrows. He's the DAV commander from the state of Rhode Island. James, if you want to get up, a couple of constituent of mine, especially one big advocate for you guys is Deb Schusterman, that brought this to my attention, and I had Mary Ann do this, and I want to thank all you people for your service, what you do for the country, and what you do for the disability, the disabled veterans. So, saying that, whereas the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the town of West Warwick are matters of paramount importance to the town council, and whereas it is the freedoms employed by all of us that makes the United States that great country that it is. And those freedoms we won and defended by military veterans who put service to their country before service to self. Whereas the Disabled American Veterans is a nonprofit organization that provides a lifetime of support for veterans of all generations and their families, helping more than 1 million veterans in positive, life-changing ways each and every year. Whereas the DAV empowers our nation's heroes and their families by helping to provide the resources they need and ensuring our nation keeps the promises made to them. Whereas the state of Rhode Island DAV has been successfully advocating and providing services to West Warwick disabled veterans since 1942. Whereas the town manager and the town council of the town of West Warwick proudly stand up for the men and women who fought for us and returned home with physical and emotional wounds of war. Therefore, July 31st, 2016 shall be declared Disabled American Veterans Day in the town of West Warwick as we honor the sacrifices made by these veterans and salute them for their freedoms they have provided and guaranteed to us. I hereby present this proclamation to James Burrows, Commander of the State of Rhode Island Disabled American Veterans, representing the DAV. Great pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you, Deb, for...
Minutes of the previous meeting, resolved that the minutes of the June 7th and June 21st, 2016 town council meetings are hereby accepted.
I'll move the resolution.
Moved and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Consent agendas, license applications. Resolved that the consent agenda, having been posted, all matters being referred to proper departments and being disposed of or awaiting recommendation, the same is hereby approved.
I'll move the resolution.
Moved and second, any discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Those licenses that have just been approved is the Church of Sacred Heart raffle permit, Business licenses, CPC Ltd., Clear Sky Windows and House Cleaning, HD Construction, USA Realty, Hannibal's Cafe and Cakery, secondhand dealer renewal, JC's, and secondhand Dimensions is the place, and they've all been approved.
Consent agenda correspondence, resolved that the consent agenda, having been posted, all matters being referred to proper departments and being disposed or awaiting recommendation, the same is hereby approved.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? There's just some applications for reappointments, and that's further on the agenda anyway, so we can discuss that later. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Amplifier, loudspeaker, and dance live band, resolved that the town council hereby approves the following application. Crompton Veterans Association, attention, Edward Furtado, 37 Hepburn Street, August 20th, 2016, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Amplifier, loudspeaker, and dance live band permit, resolved that the town council hereby approves the following application. Carlene Marchesal, 26 Crossland Road, August 6, 2016, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.
For the record, Councilman Padula is
I'm
going
gonna
to recuse
recuse
himself. I knew that was coming. Any discussion? Any public discussion?
You gotta move it, Dave.
Oh, somebody's going to move
I
that.
move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and second, discussion. Again, I think she had this event last year, it went pretty smooth. Mrs. P got a little out of hand, though, we had to keep her under control, right? Nah. But, no, it's again, event that she had last year, and it went pretty smooth for the community and herself, so I don't see any issues with it. Any public comment? Any comment from the council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Amplifier, loudspeaker, and theatrical performances, shows, and exhibitions permit. Resolved that the town council hereby approves the following application. CBWI LLC, attention Wesley Skorsky, 3 Keys Way, July 23rd, 2016, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolved that the town council hereby approves the following application. Kim L. Pong, 1960 New London Turnpike, July 23rd, 2016, 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Town council acting as liquor commission, Class B victualler liquor license. Resolved that the following application for a Class B victualler liquor license, having advertised in accordance with law for hearing on this date, no remonstrants or objectors present, the same is hereby approved. Fresco Also Inc., DBA Fresco, 115 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick, Rhode Island, 92893.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? All taxes are up to date and everything on this, Marion?
Yep.
Okay.
The owner here, Fresco.
Is the owner of Fresco here? Okay. Any other discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Town council acting as town council, resolution to the Public Utilities Commission in support of the Kent County Water Authority proposal to change its tariff structure for hydrant fees, sponsored by Council President Goslin.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, I had some brief discussion about this. There's a couple of different, once this loads up. Basically, it looks like Kent County Water, and we always have this discussion during budget time, they charge us $375,000 a year for fire hydrant usage. So they were looking at helping us out and taking out of our budget. In the end, though, I will say, that it could possibly go to the end user anyway.
It will. That
Th-
is proposed,
there is-
that they
there is
spread
no
it
if.
out amongst all the end users, as
Yeah.
opposed to the cities and towns taking the burden.
So in our budget, it's $375,000. The question I have, and I probably should have maybe asked this a little earlier, how many water meters per se in the town of West Warwick? So a little over 10,000? No, more than that. There'd be
Big time.
You have
Yeah.
every
about
separate
40,
unit.
almost 40, 50,000.
Easy.
So the question is, what is the end user gonna see based upon taxes now, or what they're gonna see in the end from Kent County Water? Is there, right now, we kind of fight what they charge us, 375,000. Can and will they jack it up if it goes to the end user and try to go for 500 or 800,000
Well-
in the end? That's my biggest concern.
Right out of the gate, they are increasing their amount substantially. There's going to be a huge rate increase, and there's going to be a huge increase to this fee. So they were talking on the order of close to 120-some thousand, I think, more than what we're paying now. And they sent out notices to all of the end users that, of the hydrants that, the towns, that their fees are going to be going up substantially. But their answer to, and we explained to them, we can't handle a hit like that. It's just too much for our budget, and they were going to start it this year. We were already through the budget process. But then they said that their idea was that they would distribute it to all the end users rather than make the towns pay it, because, or the fire districts in the case of Coventry next door and things like that, that they felt it was a more equitable way
Bless you.
to deal with it, because in the end, it is for the homeowner's use. If their house is burning down, it's protecting their homes, and they felt that was a more equitable approach to it.
You're saving the
It's
insurance
debatable.
companies. You're
It's
saving the
debatable.
insurance companies, but
Bless you.
again, all these roads, they're doing all the new water lines, it's coming on the consumer, we're all
Well,
gonna
someone's
pay.
gotta pay for it,
And,
sure.
but
Yeah.
still, they still have to go to PUC, which
They do.
in my opinion is worthless.
So
because
all of this-
whatever they want for a rate, they go in for 20% and they only want 10.
Right.
They get 15, so.
Probably going to get their rate increase, so what it's going to come down to is, all this resolution would do is basically to say that the council supports the idea of hydrants going to the end users, broadly distributed, as opposed to the towns paying the bill, and it's a recommendation to the PUC only.
Yeah, and
What's the
how much
stuff that-
clout do we have
Yeah.
if we say no? My only concern, and Dave and I have talked about it, is that what is the impact to the end user? If we eliminate 375 right now from our budget,
Yeah, how much is it per
how-
person?
How much is it, per person, and what are they saving on their tax bill,
It's actually a couple of cents on it.
right? It's probably very small.
And then what are they gonna,
So
what
then-
happens the following year if they wanna issue?
There's not much control over
No.
that. They'll have to go to PUC. So then my concern is, if we get rid of it right now off the budget, and we've complained about it, but
Yep.
in my mind, it's less of a hit when the town is doing it than if they individually charge everybody. And my guess is it's
But I
like
do
probably a
have-
few cents.
I do have a
on the
second
budget.
question.
Nothing,
I agree.
If,
I'm concerned about that.
but I do have a second
People
question
getting a
on this. If they put it on the end user, who's still responsible for cleaning out those fire hydrants?
Well, then what they'll do, Dave, if they gotta get a maintenance crew
No,
to
no,
come
I'm
out,
saying
they're
right
gonna
now,
put
we
that
use,
on the end user.
right now, we use our fire department,
Yeah, and we would still do that.
and we'd still maintain, I mean, because I'm looking at it as, $1 million is what to the tax rate? It's 20 cents per household, roughly, per thousand?
David, we just figured it out. The solicitor just figured it out. It's about $12 a year.
Per person.
Per person.
Right.
Right now.
Right now.
Just take the dollar
Right
amount
now.
of 375
Yeah.
divided by 30,000 people.
But
that's going
now,
up.
if they're talking about moving it up 125,000,
It's 3 cents a day.
Yeah.
but now they're talking about moving up another 125,000.
Even if you added it
Well, if you
on
trust
there,
if you trust the water department, it's just going to tack on an extra $12, $15. And I got
That's
some
not gonna
land in
happen.
Florida, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I'm nervous on is what they do to the end user.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
1666 a year divided by 365, it's 4 cents, 4.5 cents per day, per person.
On our taxes.
On our budget
On our
line
budget?
item,
No.
or,
You'd save the money. It's an additional 4 cents per day per individual paying it directly to the Kent County Water Authority. That's just rough math. Even that's adding in the $125,000 increase.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of like divide and conquer too, which means,
Utilities versus municipalities.
well, yeah, the utilities versus municipalities, utilities versus the individual homeowner. I mean, who has more of a chance of winning? Right? And we've done that. I mean,
We have more of a chance because now
Yeah.
you're on that 5-year plan where you could always testify on behalf of us to PUC that we're limited to what we spent, where the taxpayers, they think they got a ton of money where there's no end. They got deep, deep pockets.
Yeah, I'm concerned about it. I think we're all concerned about it, how it really affects, and, what's behind this. Really, they're saying it's more equitable.
I think the worst thing we can do is let them build the
Consumer,
customer
yeah.
instead of building the town. That's my opinion.
I think so too, with the numbers that we're looking at.
Well, if they bill the customer directly, are you gonna give the $375,000 back to the?
They're not gonna see that either.
No, that's
I'm
it.
asking you, would you take it out of your budget and give it back to the taxpayers?
It would be pennies though, or a few dollars.
It is, it's
You know,
a few
which we
dollars
could.
per household.
Yeah.
You're gonna give them $3 and they're gonna get a
So,
$12 raise, so
the-
what difference does it make?
The way it needs to be relayed is, if we keep it in our budget, it's cheaper for the homeowner or the landlord or whoever it may be who owns that house to keep it in our budget than to put it outside our budget. But again, if they're gonna go up and keep going up, what can you afford?
They're gonna hit the
I
ratepayer
mean, let's
again,
face it,
Dave.
just
I
payments, so they're
spoke
gonna
to
hit
them,
us for
they're
that.
gonna hit the ratepayer again.
But as a municipality, we have more clout, I think.
Right.
And firepower
Collectively, right.
behind us collectively to do something.
Put
you
in
know,
wells.
Rather than the individual end user.
That's what I suggest, everybody put in
I got
wells.
one.
Yeah,
I
so
got
I
one.
mean, I know my opinion. I don't want to support this.
I don't either.
It's not for the benefit, as far as I can see. Maybe they can come up with some figures that we're not aware of.
From what I see right here,
From
I'm
what I
not
see right
supporting it.
here, I'm not supporting
Where
this.
did this document come from specifically?
And again, just because it says sponsored, we have to have somebody who says they're gonna sponsor it to bring it to the council.
Okay.
Tomorrow, somebody's gonna say Dave Goslin wants to raise water tax.
What do you wanna raise?
I don't want to raise anything. I want to raise awareness. That's what I want to raise.
So should we draft something that says that we oppose this and pass that resolution at the next meeting?
No, just let them build a town.
Not to do anything.
We don't have to do anything.
They will be going before PUC, so
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
an opportunity for you to make a statement if you'd like to,
Well, yeah, right now, how much we're against this.
on behalf of the towns.
Oh, we can,
The resolution would be in opposition, not in support.
yeah,
Right.
just,
That's what I mean.
so you can make an amendment to this resolution saying,
We don't support it.
hold on one second.
Okay, let's do it. We got more business, so.
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion that we include language in this resolution that we do not support this resolution.
I'll second.
Moved and second, any discussion?
Are you moving to amend or?
So you're gonna turn it around, instead of supporting it, you're gonna oppose it.
Okay.
All in favor of opposing? Actually, before we do that, any public comment on that? None? All in favor?
You're gonna make the motion as amended.
Yeah,
I move-
that's why I said, all
I
in
move the
favor
resolu-
that opposed it.
The resolution's moved as amended.
Yeah. Second.
Yeah.
Moved and seconded as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution authorizing the purchase of vehicles and equipment for use by the Departments of Public Works and Recreation and the financing thereof through an equipment lease purchase agreement and authorizing the execution and delivery of a lease purchase agreement schedule and related instruments and determining other matters in connection therewith, sponsored by Council President Goslin.
I'll move the resolution.
Moved and seconded, John?
Hello again. This document in front of you, the resolution, is for financing for equipment, an equipment lease for two particular vehicles, one of which was actually approved as part of the capital improvement plan that was presented during the budget workshop and approved to spend approximately $19,000 on a 5-year lease for a street sweeper. But this is actually for the financing. This approves the financing mechanism. In addition to the street sweeper, we did look at the Civic Center situation as part of the budget that was presented or that was provided earlier. We are looking to also purchase a new Zamboni, an electric Zamboni, to take advantage of the wind energy or wind turbines that the town is now utilizing in Coventry. So this actually, this is the financing mechanism, as I mentioned earlier. Webster Bank has, again, stepped up to the plate, so to speak, and provided the town with a very good rate, a little over 2% for a 5-year lease on the two vehicles that I mentioned. The financing for that would be partly to the Civic Center, as the enterprise fund was included in that budget, and the other part would come out of the general fund. But as I mentioned, it's already been approved as part of the capital improvement plan budget that was just passed recently.
Green Zamboni, that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember when I was
We've got to be the greenest municipality in the state.
I think we
Gotta
are.
be.
No, but what I think's funny about that is I remember when I was in high school, we had practices and games canceled because there was a carbon monoxide alarm going off from the Zamboni that was probably 100 years old in the ice rink. So
Pretty close.
25 years old. 25. Ran off diesel.
And I'll also point out that we are in discussions with the company that put up our turbines to sponsor the Zamboni.
Nice.
And
Or wind
so
engine,
so
right?
correct. So and it'll have some wording on there, say 100% renewable, Zamboni. So we really want to market that fact.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be I think it'll be huge.
See those spinny things in Coventry? Then
Yeah.
in this Zamboni go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So as part of that
Maybe it's
agreement,
the solar panels on
Yeah.
the Civic Center that's supplying that energy.
that too. But anyway.
No, great.
Very cool.
Where's the sidewalk sweeper? I don't see that there.
They have an electric sidewalk.
There's no sidewalk.
They're guys with brooms that sweep it in
Is
the
that what
street.
that is?
They don't have a big enough extension cord to plug in.
Well, we'll talk about that later on then.
All right, any other questions for John?
Thanks, John.
Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Contribution for the West Warwick Police Memorial. Resolved that the town council hereby makes the following contribution to the West Warwick Police Memorial.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. I didn't put a dollar amount because I know we talked about it at budget time. I think the budget amount was $5,000.
I believe that's what it was.
John,
That's what we discussed at the budget.
passed total of $20,000 for nonprofit contributions that was discussed.
5,000.
5,000.
and the reason why I didn't put any dollar amount, I just wanted to make sure that we had the right dollar amount, so if anybody wanted to make a
Yeah,
motion.
I mean, it's in
I'll
the
make
budget.
I'll make a motion, what we discussed at the budget, that we put $5,000 aside for a contribution to the West Warwick Police Memorial.
And we all second it, yeah.
And it's second, any discussion?
How's the fundraising efforts coming? I see Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin?
Yeah, just have to go up to.
You gotta
have
come
to
up,
Mike. Kevin.
Phyllis must be happy about this. July 1st. Phyllis.
First of all, let me thank you for your donation, and we're coming along great. If you've driven by Murray Square, the monument is up. It's all covered up. We didn't want to disclose, although Kendra has seen it. And she was gracious enough not to post
she
the
peek?
pictures.
Did she peek?
She did peek. But she was gracious enough just to show one portion of it. So the rest is up. And
Probably arrest her.
we're just waiting for the pavers now. They were a little behind because we sold so many of them. So many people were generous enough to buy the pavers that we sold over 130 of them. So it's taken quite a while to engrave them. And as soon as they're done, we'll get it finished. And the grading's going to start, I believe, next week. Take all the topsoil off and underground sprinklers. The electrical's going in. Mr. Townsend from the school department has gotten us a grant, I believe, for the lights. So they're all going to be LED. So that'll be nice. All the flagpoles and the statue and the memorial itself be illuminated from dusk till dawn. So, well, I was just discussing that tonight, and we're going to have a meeting of the committee. It looks like sometime in September now, just to make sure.
Make sure you do your email update.
Exactly. I got rid of T-Mobile, so now I have unlimited email, so I won't go slow anymore, and everybody. So, but I'm looking at September, maybe the middle of September.
Yeah.
I will notify you when that's concrete, because I want it all completed before we do it. Matter of fact, the benches are sitting in my driveway that people have sponsored, so,
We got a bench, right?
no,
What do we sponsor?
the
5,000.
5,000, you're going to get a plaque.
Plaque?
Yeah, all the benches went. Those were some of the first things that went. I didn't even have to promote it. The first fundraiser, they were gone. Flagpoles, the first 3 people that got the pamphlets bought the flagpoles. So it's going along great. The only thing we're looking for is, and I'm having some trouble, is a West Warwick flag.
That's no trouble. We actually have one. We will donate that to you also.
Oh, thank you very much.
I talked to Paula the other day. She wanted to know how we dealt with that, and she does have an extra flag, but, so we'll be able to donate that in the end to you.
Oh, very good. Thank you again. So we're looking for September. I will notify you well in advance to make sure that you all can
No, I'm
attend.
looking forward to the
Yeah,
ceremony. And
I think you're going to be very proud of what it's going to look like, and it'll do a great service to the men and women that serve this town.
yeah. And
And in light
The
of
entire
everything,
country
in the
in
entire
general, in light
country,
of everything
in
that's
light
been
of
going on
what's recently happened. So it's going to be a monument to not only West Warwick, but to everybody put on the uniform. So, again, thank you.
So our contribution will be $5,000 and 1 West Warwick flag. So that's $5,167. That's the discussion I had with Paul the other day. It's very expensive. But we have them here in Town Hall, so they're in a box. Can we deduct it? So again, it's $5,000 and a West Warwick town flag. Any other discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution for fiscal year 2017 budget for Civic Center sponsored by Council President Goslin. Resolved that the attached is adopted as the Civic Center budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending June 30th, 2017 in the amount of $520,000 for operations, maintenance, and debt service.
I'll move the resolution. Second.
Moved and seconded. This is just about the meeting we had right before this meeting. Any questions? Any questions on the Civic Center budget? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Bid award Crompton Fishing Pier sponsored by Councilman Kenahan. RFP bid number 2017-4, site construction at 75 Manchester Street. Resolved that the town council hereby approves the bid award to Beausoleil Brothers, Inc., Cranston, Rhode Island, in the amount of $102,500.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Councilman Kenahan?
Fred, if you want to update us on.
Yeah, I'll just update everybody. We put this project out to bid. Just to give you a little background, this project goes way, way back when this property was purchased, I think 2007, I think.
Yeah.
It was still Wolfgang. The house had burned down on the site, and the town purchased it. When I was on board as planner in 2010, we applied for open space grant money to construct a fishing pier, handicap fishing pier. The Councilwoman Gustafson at the time sponsored that, and we were able to get $75,000 awarded towards that, which the council approved a match of $75,000, which is in our capital budget account right now. Prior to doing any construction, though, we were required to do a Phase 1 environmental site assessment, which wasn't part of our budget. I was able to secure DEM funding. Actually, DEM did it. It was an application process. They actually conducted the Phase 1 on our behalf. It did come back that we needed to do a Phase 2 because it was directly adjacent to a mill, and there was reason to think there might be issues with the soil. Once again, I submitted an application to DEM. And once again, DEM graciously awarded us, they actually did the work again on our behalf. This work, by the way, probably saved us in the neighborhood of about $100,000 with all the sampling and analysis that was done on that site. And we didn't pay a penny of that. It took a long time to go through this process.
So for testing, it was $100,000.
For all that work.
Something that could have been done.
And then, again, though, we didn't have to pay for that. we did get the final analysis that was done, and that's testing and reporting, and then they also had to come up with what's called a remedial action plan, because there was contamination on the site, and that had to be approved by DEM. We received the final approval for that in the fall, and then we submitted, we did designs based upon that plan, because that involved some soil removal and then capping with the parking lot area. So that was all approved by DEM. Then we had to get a wetlands permit for the actual construction of the site, which is all received. And we then got a $50,000 brownfields grant from EPA to help us with that cleanup portion. So part of the construction money here will be paid for with that $50,000 brownfields cleanup grant. So that's a total of $150,000 in DEM brownfields-related grants and an additional $75,000 in DEM open space grants to construct this pier, which all said and done is going to total over $375,000 when we finalize this. But and that includes $50,000 from CDBG that'll help us complete the construction of this, because with all the work that had to be done, the prices came in. So for $375,000, the town will pay $75,000 that it's already allocated, and Councilman Kenahan is also offered from his discretionary funds from last year that he had for his ward. He's going to put, right now it looks like about $25,000 will be needed, and whatever overages we might see. So all the money is in place, and we are ready to go to construction once this is approved.
I just want to be very clear, because I know Fred gave a lot of details, but I sat in on a lot of meetings with Fred, and I had a lot of phone calls with Fred since I got on the council about this, and Fred saved this project.
Absolutely.
He made this project happen. I know me and him talked a lot, and I went out and I did the site visits, and many people probably haven't even been over there before, but right on the southern side of Crompton Mill, there's this beautiful pond. Right, I mean, I call it a pond, but it's a right area at the end of the river, right before the waterfall, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's like a nature scene you didn't think existed in West Warwick. And once this fishing pier goes in, it's going to be handicap accessible, and there's going to be a kayak ramp, and it's really going to be a beautiful thing that brings the Crompton Village back. But I can't stress enough, this project, when it was first conceived, it was really dead in the water, not to use a bad pun, but Fred saved this project through using all of his connections that he has at DEM and making phone calls and working and doing grants. Like, he made this project happen. It's going to be a beautiful thing for West Warwick. It's going to be a beautiful thing for that area, and I really look forward to seeing it, and I'm very proud of Fred.
And can I say again, congratulations, Fred. Again, this is what you do, and people understand when they say, well, where's that project? It's been going on years and years and years. It was dead in the water because we didn't have the money to finish it. I want to congratulate Phyllis Gustafson, former councilwoman Phyllis Gustafson, for having the vision.
The vision.
Right? I want to congratulate you, because you could have killed it if you wanted to, and you recognize it also as a great vision, a great piece over there in your ward. So congratulations, and Fred, I mean, I'm always praising you, because you're getting things done. You're turning $75,000 into $375,000 with government funding, and that's what it's all about. It takes time. Sometimes people don't realize that. We're moving forward. We've got some great things going on, great things in the future, great vision, and most of it's because of you. We're here to support you, and thank you so much for doing that job.
And I said this to Fred. It was it's been a crazy project, and it's taken a very long time to come to fruition. But I told him, I definitely want to reach out to former Council Vice President Gustafson and make sure that she's there for the ceremonies and bringing everything up to speed. Because just as much as Fred helped get it done, and I saw it to the end, she had the vision and saw this thing, and really fought for it at its inception. So.
And I know that there was an individual as well that she wanted to
Turn it on.
I know there was an individual as well that she wanted to offer naming towards this, so we should reach out to her with respect
Reach
to
out
that,
to the
and the
family.
council should
Yep.
discuss that as well, because it was an individual that,
Yeah.
could have utilized this, so this is, and that was something that she was, that was the vision.
That was
so.
the vision, and I think we should
No, I think it's an
honor
honor.
that vision. Absolutely.
Thank you, Fred.
Any other comment? Any public comment? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
RFP bid number 2017-03, handicapped accessible fishing pier and boat ramp at 75 Manchester Street. Resolved that the town council hereby approves the bid award to DAR Construction, Rehoboth, Mass. in the amount of $173,000.
I'll move the resolution.
Moving second, any discussion? Fred, just go
Yeah,
ahead.
basically,
We split this into two because they're very different projects, a lot of different expertise from construction companies. We did have bids from some of the companies on both, but we definitely realized substantial savings by doing it this way because companies with the expertise are able to keep their prices lower. So
And this isn't going to be a full boat ramp, like you couldn't, this is a kayak ramp.
it's a kayak, kind of steps into the water, that allows people to launch their kayaks or canoes.
Coventry has one up on Laurel.
Correct, yep.
By the way, if anybody realizes, they do stock that portion of the river with trout. A lot of people do fish there. It's a nice little area, especially, it actually has, they have a fishing area more towards West Warwick Avenue, next to the tattoo parlor. That's where they launch, but this is more convenient where there's nobody's yard you're walking through, and there's going to be a little bit of parking over there, so where you're not parking in rocks and walking your kayak across the
Well,
street.
there's going to be a parking lot there, which is built into the plan, and we just recently paved with the road bond money. Now Crompton Playground has parking, and that street, connector street, has been paved. So we're going to get that line for parking. So, and that's just a short 10-second walk to where this is going to be. So,
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have
Ordinance number 2016-7, an ordinance amending Chapter 5 Buildings, Article 2 Fences of the West Warwick zoning code of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of West Warwick.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading.
it. Motion to waive the reading, seconded by Councilman Kennahan. All in favor to waive the reading?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Now I'll move the ordinance.
Discussion?
This, in effect, will not require permits for fences 6 feet
Or less.
or less, including 6 feet. So 6-foot fences down no longer require permits.
I mean, Al, I remember this when I was on the planning board. There was never an ordinance on fences. The only thing there was an ordinance on, I don't understand this because, when Murray was the building official, he used to send them away not to get the only ordinance that we had is if it came to a corner where it was blocking the view of traffic. And
If we weren't
I don't know how this appeared again, and it came,
If we weren't on the record, I'd have a comment.
There's always history. There's always
hear you,
history. Right.
you're saying what you can't
Yes.
say what I'm thinking.
Yes,
Well, I don't know why you
it's
can't.
in the ordinance.
All right. I thought you were a Trump
What else?
supporter. You can say whatever you want, right?
I do.
All right.
It's in the ordinance, and we're taking it out. She hasn't read it yet.
Okay. Which is fine. My only reservation, I think I said it the last time, is, you put up a 6-foot stockade fence, and so you'll just wait for the homeowner to complain about it before we do anything. 'Cause-
been read yet, so.
well, no, she.
No,
they
we waived the reading.
We waived the
yeah,
reading.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reading.
In answer to that, Councilman, is that we run into that with so many things. The guy puts the swimming pool too close to the boundary line, and, we don't know about it till the neighbor complains. So if we don't have the staff that can go checking these things. What you're saying is true. We got to wait for a complaint or that we happen to see it. And most times it's a civil matter.
You fine with this, Fred? Yeah? Okay. That's one less, we just chopped a little bit of bureaucracy off, which is always good.
Yes.
Right? It's always good. Now, if we don't need permits for putting additions on, we might have to talk about that.
We just built more walls.
Yeah, more walls, yeah, right. All right.
Any other discussion? Trumpster. Any public discussion? Hearing none, I gotta take a roll call vote. Brian? Yes. Angelo?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
before you go on to the next resolution, if you're praising Fred, I want to say that if he's able to get money for the Zamboni from the contractor for the wind farm,
We're giving him 18 million.
after last Wednesday's zoning meeting,
Oh, yeah.
he's a miracle worker.
Oh, yeah.
And it was after that I asked him, so.
$18 million we gave him.
Yeah, but he's already got it, so.
Yeah, no, right. No, he's. I think he's going to treat. We're going to talk about the windmills, I'm sure, during your time. Okay.
All right, next one.
An ordinance amending, ordinance number 2016-8, first reading, sponsored by Councilman Tucker, an ordinance amending Chapter 11, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Section 34, routes where trucks prohibited of the Code of Ordinance of the Town of West Warwick.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading.
Second. The background to
Wait a
this, members of the council, is that if you read the
You gotta move
ordinance that
Al,
presently...
Dave, you gotta vote moving waiving the
Suspend-
reading, and then
suspend
I
the
gotta
reading.
move it.
Move the resolution.
No, you didn't.
waive the reading?
Yeah.
We did.
Now I'll move the ordinance.
Second.
The
Can I begin first, Al?
the
Can I just give some quick background? This whole thing started with complaints from two residents, one at either end of East Greenwich Avenue, talking about no-through trucking signs on the road, but it seems like trucks coming through all over the place. So I gave Major Knott an email asking him, hey, let's enforce this. If we've got signs up, let's enforce the law that says no through trucks. He said, well, that's a little bit of an issue. Looking at where we are, we really don't have any teeth in our ordinance that says we could fine somebody for driving their trucks, cutting through from Route 2 to Route 3, or like in David's ward, going Harris Avenue to Fairview Avenue or Coit Avenue and roads like that. So he mentioned to Al to see what we needed to do to get the ball rolling as far as putting some teeth to the ordinance. Go ahead, Al.
When I took a look at the past ordinance and looked at the streets, I said, well, the only thing to do is get rid of it, and that's why I'm suggesting we repeal it. I met with what is considered the traffic committee, and that'll be coming up later on, and the descriptions of the vehicles that we put in there, we had a lot of discussion as to how do you determine what vehicles you're going to prohibit. I did quite a bit of research on almost every community in the state, and the traffic committee came up with the 26,000 pounds, which puts it in that real the big stuff, the 21 passenger vehicle, and I believe it was Dave who mentioned that the smaller vehicles, passenger vehicles are 20 and under. So that was where we came up with the vehicles that would be prohibited. The streets that are listed was just I submitted, I took the map of West Warwick, and I went through it and looked at what could be considered through streets in residential areas, and I brought this to the traffic committee, and they approved it, and we all felt that we would submit it to you, the council, for deletion or addition, because this was, something we came up with as to what streets I think the two gentlemen who live in your districts, have a better feel for it than we did. Naturally, we put the saving clause for the emergency vehicles. We put in a fine. The last paragraph, paragraph C, which I'm going to ask that it be amended for a typographical error, which I will submit the amendment if the council does amend it, is in paragraph C, and the last line, it says secondary roads. Right now, it says 2 and the number 2. That should read secondary roads as a divergent route around the proposed toll locations. For the council's notice, if you're not aware, Fred gave to me the document that came out of the state regarding where the toll booths are going to go. There's going to be a toll booth between the Route 95 bridge over Cohasset Avenue 117 and the 295 exit. The state law puts in this clause that says if a trucker is taking a divergent route, they can be fined. The first fine is $85. And the way they determine a divergent route is that if they get stopped on what the state has determined a divergent route, and their log says they're coming from Connecticut and going to Massachusetts, and they're on this divergent route, that's going to be the grounds for the ticket. The divergent route for that is that if they get off at, if they're going north and they get off at Carty's, the exit at Carty's on Bald Hill Road, and go down Quaker Lane there and Bald Hill Road, and get back on down at the malls, and they get stopped, that's a divergent route, and it's an $85 fine. The reason I've put this in our ordinance is that it states that the town officials, the town police, have the right to also stop the truck if they see it and check it out. So that we've got that short strip of highway that is in West Warwick, and I just wanted to cover the base by having the council authorize our local police department to take part in the state enforcement. And there is a breakdown that if, I don't remember the numbers, but if this, and I could look it up, that if the town stops the truck and the truck pays the fine, the town, I believe, gets a piece of the fine that is paid. So that's why that last paragraph C is in there.
That was my question. What do we get? What's the state's cut?
I can look it up, I don't remember the numbers.
Is it worth for our people to even stop him if we get $5?
Like a $15,
I think
We'll
it's-
see.
Because I think it's more a matter of if our police officer happens to be there and he sees something, that rings a bell with him, that he would take some action, that he sees somebody get off at, but it was just, I put it in there just
I think it's a good addition.
over an abundance of caution to say, even though the state law says it, that the town council is authorizing it.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Al, the list over here of these streets that you got together and the Traffic Commission approved, this isn't necessarily what's out there right now, because I know there's one on Border Street, and Border Street's not on here, though because Factory Street and Earl Street's included, they shouldn't be on that street anyway. It's a side street, Border Street, but they used to always cut across to avoid Earl Street because of the traffic from the school buses. So these trucks would go around Border, then get on Factory Street, or vice versa.
That list is still, as I said, is just a list that I looked
And
at.
we said that that's a start, but we want you
Yeah.
to tell us.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're covering Factory Street and Earl Street. A lot of it is from Ward 3 here, this list. And you're covering Factory Street and Earl Street. So if they're on Border Street, how do they
If
get
you'd
there?
like,
They got there from Factory
If
and
the council
Earl.
wants that in Border, I mean, as I said, this was strictly,
Yeah.
we pulled out a list of names and here you go, take a look at it.
Is our signage across the town going to be updated and changed, or?
Based upon what's approved, we'll put more.
So you want to be
Yeah,
thoughtful.
you'll have to put, as a matter of fact,
You can always add it.
it states in there that, in and upon the following streets, at time is prohibited, and the chief of police is directed to cause conspicuous signs to be placed on such streets or highways giving notice of such prohibition.
Should we, and is it feasible to put the amount of the fine with those signs to discourage?
Well, the question I have is, like, for instance, there's a couple of these streets that have businesses on them that need trucking. Clyde
That-
Street was-
No, Dave, with
That's
that,
excluded.
yeah, Clyde
Provided
Street is,
not-
but what they were doing, instead of going down Clyde Street to Maine, they were going up Grandview and going through Whiteman.
I understand that, but
Dave, that's included.
Yeah,
Provided, however, nothing contained herein shall affect the use of such streets or highways for any fire trucks, police, blah, 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 or emergency vehicles delivering goods, wares, merchandise, or materials to or from residence building or lot within the town. So that if you're making a delivery, it's excluded.
So if somebody gets stopped and they will prove that.
And the amount is, Brian, the amount is in there, $500.
I don't want to get a phone call next week. saying
That's the
I can't
maximum.
talk to my business.
Yeah, and this in no way is an anti-business type thing. This is about, first of all, safety and oversized vehicles, trucks, et cetera, going down residential cuts,
Right.
like Patuxent Terrace.
And the chief
And they ruin our roads, our interior roads.
The chief had that conversation. He sent a few officers down when we were having that problem with the bus and the asphalt trucks and other companies, because they were cutting through Whiteman, going up, and cutting through Clyde, but they haven't been using it because the constituents haven't been calling me.
Brian, the maximum the municipal court can fine is $500. We put the jurisdiction in the municipal court, and it just says to fine not to in excess of 500. So that would be up to the municipal. You know, if it's a first-time offense, John may have some leniency. You know, it gives the municipal court the leniency that I think that it should have. Councilman, you want Border Street included? Since I'm asking for an amendment already.
Well, I would. I mean, in other words, if an officer, a patrolman, found a truck on Factory Street, I mean, technically, that's not one of the streets they can't be, but they have to go to, on Border Street, they have to go to Factory or Earl Street to get out. So does the patrolman wait until they go on Factory Street before he tickets them, or does he ticket them on Border Street?
Then I would
don't know.
ask that the ordinance be amended by adding Border Street to the list of streets,
It has been one for many years. It's been up.
and that paragraph C be amended to read secondary roads as a divergent route around. And if the council passes the amendment, I will prepare it and get it to Paula tomorrow.
So Al, you'll work with, if this is passed, you'll work with the DPW to make sure all signage is in place and sign off on that? Is that how that'll work?
The DP,
We'll work with the police,
The-
DPW, to make sure.
It's the way the state statute reads, it's the police chief's
Without a seal on
authority, but as in the past, it's been primarily Public Works that puts them up. And they work together, you know, so there's not a problem there.
Any other questions for Al? Any public comment? Hearing none, roll call vote.
As amended?
As amended.
Roll call vote, Angela?
yes.
Brian? Yes. David?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Oh, you want your pen, no, sorry.
Ordinance 2016-9, first reading, sponsored by Town Council, an ordinance amending Chapter 8 Garbage and Trash of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of West Warwick.
I don't think I should waive the reading. I'll waive the reading
It's a
motion.
small one.
Well, no, I mean, we know, it's a first reading.
Yeah,
well,
well,
We'll just explain what it is.
Yeah, summary,
Well,
executive summary.
I made Al, you can give us a summary once we move. Dave, I moved to waive the reading. I need a second.
A second.
All in favor to waive the reading?
Aye.
All right.
Now I'll move the ordinance to explanation. Al, you wanna?
Second. Al?
I got a call from Dave. Apparently what's been happening is people are going along when the recycling bins are out on the street and they're removing the recycling materials that they can sell. That affects the income that the town receives from the, whatever the name of that thing is, the pays for us, so it reduces it. When Dave initially spoke to the police department, the problem was that there was nothing that they could find that allowed us to bring any charges. In discussing it with Fred and with Dave, the recycling bins are ours. When you put something in that recycling bin and you move it out to the street, it's ours. So what I did was I prepared the ordinance to say that the resident who put something in it, that resident has the right to take it out. But other than that, once it gets out onto the street, that becomes our property. If you take what's in it, it's our property, and it's larceny. And so that Dave has had the experience of actually seeing somebody with a pickup truck with garbage bags full of stuff that they had picked up, and there was nothing the police can do. It's going to be...
Gee, you mean 5 years I've been fighting, saying that once it's in a bin, that it's town property?
It's in our bin now.
But they're not...
But it wasn't our bin when we put the plastic things out and they were stealing aluminum cans. And there was nothing that could have been done.
Didn't the residents pay for those bins, though?
You know, just like we're paying for the extra ones if we get to put out, $75.
Again, I know I had a situation, I called Dave, a male and a female were on Douglas Street and Sisson Street, and they were going through every single one. And they were there for a long time, but again, I know Dave had no bite, so
Well, what happened was when Dave spoke to me, he said that the police felt they had they couldn't charge it. And I don't know anything about back when you first raised it,
Yeah.
but now that the bin is ours, and
5 years,
discussing with
that-
Well,
Fred,
at least.
you know, what's in that bin is ours, so,
Since I've been here.
and again, I put it in the jurisdiction of municipal court, and in this one, I actually, again, discussion with Dave, we put a fine of $50 for the first offense, $100 for the second, and not to exceed $500 for third and any subsequent offenses. It's gonna be a matter of the police happening to see somebody
Right.
stealing
So,
cans.
so if a person, and they used to do this, I used to do, they take their tricycle and they put it out there, it's not in the bin, or they take some aluminum and they put it out there, it's not in the bin, and they're hoping for somebody to come by and pick it up. It happens, used to happen to me all the time.
Still
Still
goes
do
on.
that.
That's against
It
the law?
has to be in our bin.
Okay, it has to be in the bin, so even if it's on our sidewalk, all right, that is not the property of the town.
Public, sidewalk's public.
Okay, so it's anybody's.
It's anybody's on the sidewalk.
Inside the bin.
Right, good. No, I think Councilman Padula has been asking this for many, many years. I've brought it up. I actually thought originally that it was town property, but this is good.
As a si-
I'm just gonna raise one issue. Is the Colonel here? Colonel, do you need a warrant to go through garbage?
Not
Why?
once it's in the street.
It's town property.
It's garbage.
Public.
No, it's garbage.
Yeah.
The issue's gonna be enforcement, and I'm just, because for 5 years, Angela, I think it's been more like 10.
Yeah.
The issue is
I'm being-
where you put the bin, and regardless of who owns it, because the way this is written right now, do we not have a third party involved?
They don't own the bin.
Hold on, well, I'm not done yet. Private company, correct?
Here we go.
Any person other than the resident who has placed the recyclable materials in the recycling bin who shall steal, take, or carry away, which means Joe Smith working for, who's the private company that does recycling? Who?
Mega.
Mega has just violated this.
No, he
law.
hasn't. He's an agent of the town.
Right.
Wait a minute, where's the agent of the town?
He's working on behalf of the town.
Where
The
does
town-
that say that in this
The town,
ordinance?
no different than if the town took it away.
Where does it say it in the ordinance, Al?
It doesn't say it in the
Right, so
ordinance,
I'm just
but
trying to get at, if you don't have it airtight because of this issue, because my next step is gonna be, if it's on your property, inside your wall, on the other side of the wall, on a sidewalk, or on the other side of the wall where there is no sidewalk, because where does the street end and the sidewalk, it's just gonna be difficult to enforce.
well, I'm comfortable that if we didn't have a third party doing it, and the town truck went up and picked it up, we would be picking up our own property. So that doesn't fall within
Right,
this.
but
So that when
I
we,
just wanna
so
be
that when
clear
we,
that the property is the bin, not the contents within.
once it goes, I'm confident that once it goes in, it's our property.
Okay, well, like I said,
And-
I want to be clear for the.
And
because
we
I've
draw
been
a lot of
saying the same thing
ordinance,
for 10 years.
and I've submitted a lot of ordinances that we wait and see. Let's hope they work.
Okay.
I hope it works out.
I hope they
Me
would.
too. And especially
Any other
Councilman
questions for
Padula.
Al?
Hey.
Any public comment? Hearing none, roll call vote. Brian? Yes. Angelo?
What's that?
No, this is good.
I've been waiting 10 years to say
I've been waiting to
yes.
say 10 years to say yes.
Gotta vote for this.
10 times yes.
Right, okay.
David?
Yes.
No, I
Ed?
told the Jack-
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Ordinance 2016-10, first reading, sponsored by Town Council. An ordinance amending Chapter 11 Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1 in general, Section 11-1 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of West Warwick.
Motion to waive the reading. We're letting Mary Ann get away with murder today, I tell you.
All in favor to waive the reading?
Aye. I'll move the ordinance.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Al?
Again, this came back, I think at the last meeting, I think Councilman Giroux, you raised the question about stop signs and what have you. So Fred came to me and asked me to take a look at it. And again, I prepared something and I met with the theoretical traffic committee. And we went over this as to what would be the procedure. So my concern was primarily that if somebody in your ward says, I want a stop sign, and you come before you bring it to the council, and council says, yeah, let's put up a stop sign, there's really been no study that if somebody challenges that,
as to why did you put a stop sign there? Well, because my constituent wanted one. So by creating a traffic committee, and it's basically the same traffic committee that presently exists, only making it official, either the councilman or the council can recommend it, or they can bring it up themselves. And so you say to I'd like to have a stop sign on such and such a corner. They look at it, or they decide it themselves, especially because the police department is a member of it, or Dave, who's, dealing with streets, is a member of it. They could just come up and say, we should have a stop sign, a no parking area, what have you. And they then make the recommendation to the council, yes, put it there, or don't put it there. The next section where it says the town council shall, with reasonable services, exercise of police power and act the ordinances as shall be necessary to, and I list 11, that's a statement from the general laws as to the authority you have. I just boilerplate, what the general laws say, I put it in the ordinance, so there's no question as to what authority you had. When it gets down to the paragraph D, and this I was told by the members of the committee that the council had some concern regarding notice. I checked every municipality I could. There's no notice requirements anywhere. And the problem that you come up with is, how do you, if we're talking zoning, we talk about a 200-foot radius. If we're talking a stop sign on a corner, who do you give notice to? You run into the problem if it's a rental piece of property and you give notice to the tenant, well, the owner doesn't know. If you give notice to the owner, the tenant doesn't know. So rather realizing that that was a concern of the council, there is because this is going into ordinances, there is the normal advertising for the first reading and the second reading that the state says is public notice. But with the discussion with the traffic committee, we decided, well, okay, we'll put in a 30-day effective date, so that once that sign goes up, the people in the area see the sign, and they've got 30 days to come and see the councilman in the area, before it becomes effective. And if the councilman then says, well, we made a mistake, it can come back. But as far as any way of giving notice,
I don't either.
I couldn't figure a way to do it. I just couldn't come up with it, and I could not find any community that does it.
Then I think we should spend a little more time to find a way to do it. Because people, it's happened in the past. People wake up and all of a sudden there's no parking sign in the front.
Well, that can't be the case if you notice it.
Right, and I understand, I read what you said about it, Al, the problem that we have, the legal problem that we have. I want to talk about another way that we can do it so that maybe we can say, 4 properties down from that sign.
A block or whatever.
A block, or what are they notified?
This still
And
gives you the ability to say, because you still have to make the recommendation to the traffic committee, we want you to notice whatever the situation is. Like some areas,
Well, it should come out.
2 houses.
It should be automatic when they do that,
But
that they,
every situation is different, like the one on Providence Street, they notified the people along that stretch. They didn't go down the side street, which you
That-
said, you gotta notify those people.
I get what you're saying.
It's
The
gonna be
notice, the
different.
notice needs to be able to bend and
Correct.
change per,
But, we can leave it, I don't know if we can do it by resolution rather than ordinance, but I'm not ready to give up that people should be somehow notified in that area. I don't like the idea, Al, of doing it and then waiting for them to complain.
We're not doing
I don't
that.
like,
We're not doing that.
Well, you said they got 30 days to,
Well,
you just said we put it up and then they've got 30 days to complain about it.
I said that I
don't like doing it that
No,
way.
what I said was, I could not find language to put in here to govern all situations,
Yeah.
because I think everyone's different. However, what Fred has just said, and I'm agreeing with that, I hadn't gotten to that, was that this ordinance is flexible enough so that if you have gone to the traffic committee for a stop sign, or if somebody's gone for a no parking area, what we're envisioning happening is you make it specific so that when you
create the ordinance to place a stop sign on the corner of such and such a street. In that ordinance, you say, with notice to houses on 4 sides. Or if you say we're going to have a no parking zone along such and such a street between these 2 blocks, you, in the creation of the ordinance, have the authority to determine who gets notice. To try and put in an ordinance a blanket notice provision that will cover all situations, I don't see it's possible. I just don't.
Well, we've been doing it for how many years now? I mean, technically, people were supposed to have been notified for many, many years now. And I understand your point, it's a dilemma, but.
For no parking signs, we notify the people
Right.
in the area that that's easy.
Right.
Because it's this section
Well,
of the
then-
street.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all, I'm asking for something in this that continues to notify the immediate area. Now, I know we understand we have to
Okay.
define that.
So things like, slow here or,
Could something
No,
be
I
put
mean-
in that?
stop signs.
We're talking about
No.
stop signs going in a person's neighborhood that's a block,
Yeah.
where the stop sign's in front of their house,
Right.
or it affects that
Like
street.
Crawford.
Right.
Right,
They
exactly,
Could something get put in the ordinance?
exactly. So that's what I'm asking, somehow put something in there so that
Would-
they're still protected and that there's some type of notice, however we do it.
We do it the best we can. It's just
How about,
Could
how
some-
about an amendment that says, upon receipt of said report, the town council shall act upon the request upon affirmative vote, and such request shall be enacted. Put in there, the town council shall act upon such request and specify the area on which notice shall be given.
Yeah, that's.
That's fine.
That's fair, yeah, that's
Some,
good.
something that prompts
Right.
the traffic committee or the
Right.
council
And
to
who's gonna do
determine
that?
appropriate.
I mean, who's going to do the actual, it's still going to be our patrolmen and our police department.
In most cases, it would depend on the size of the area. If you decide, I want you to know, it's a stop sign, I know a lot of people go through, I want you to notify.
We're not going to do
You
that.
can't.
I'm
We're
saying-
not going to do that.
You're
This
gonna
is
do,
to- this is to
mostly
protect-
it's with parking.
Yeah,
where
protect the
you-
neighborhood.
You'll
That's what it is,
put a
protect
no parking sign over
neighborhood.
here, people have been parking on that street for 50 years, and all of a sudden it appeared,
Yeah.
2-hour parking. I mean,
But by
they didn't
doing-
have a chance to
But
come
by
here.
doing,
Yeah.
but what I'm doing,
And what
what
you're
I'm
going
doing,
to, what we're going to
just
announce
suggesting
tonight
is,
is nothing.
shall act upon the request and shall state the area.
Yeah, I like
notice.
that, that's fine.
Yeah,
fair.
that's fine.
Yeah.
And Jay,
So we're gonna amend that?
I'll amend it and then send that to be, that you'll specify the notice and I'll work the language out.
Great.
And the ordinance pursuant to the exercise, I would suggest you still leave in the 30 days. Give them 30 days if, to see it.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
That's your call. I mean,
Doesn't hurt.
this just says the sign goes up and the police won't enforce it for 30 days. Give anybody an opportunity to complain to you.
Kind of
I'm
a
a little
long
bit
time.
nervous about that because sometimes those signs, so for example, now I'm thinking about the Cochran Street one, that's an issue that's ongoing where once that goes through, I want that to be enforced right away
Right away?
because you have all these large trucks now that are causing this problem on Cochran Street, so once
Can't,
they're up, everyone
can't we
sees
take that also, just like you're
under
going for that
review.
amendment, and also, I don't know how far out they go, but how long they have before they start enforcing? It could be
Depending
immediate, it
on
could be
different
30 days.
situations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there
Okay,
should be,
so-
I think
so-
it should
so
be
the
a period
coun-
people get used to.
So the council will specify notice area and effective date. Notice area
All right, good.
and effective date.
Yeah, every situation is unique, so let's make this as flexible as possible. Most of the time, the traffic committee's gonna be making the recommendation directly to us.
And the last part of the ordinance is that when I started to do this and I discussed it with Mary Ann, I found that in the recent supplement to our Code of Ordinances, there is now an Appendix C. And the Appendix C is a list of all of the past, or as many as could be found, traffic sign ordinances and what have you. When I spoke with Mary Ann, I thought maybe the council had enacted that as an ordinance. She said, no, all that happened was this was a compilation of the ordinances that had been enacted, and she put them together and put them in the code as an Appendix C. that last paragraph says that you're gonna change that Appendix C from just a compilation to an ordinance. And then in the future, each time you create a new traffic condition, a stop sign, a no parking area, what have you, that new ordinance will go into Appendix C, just like our fees resolutions are going into Appendix B. So there'll be one place in our Code of Ordinances that officially says, these are the traffic ordinances, so that there's no question that they were validly enacted.
Any questions for Al on that? Any further questions? Any public questions?
I think it covers everything that we want, you know.
Yeah.
Again, it's, to us and to me, it's about protecting that individual. It's happened, over the years it's happened, which happened on my own street. I knew about it, and everybody woke up and they didn't know it was going to be there.
All right, hearing
But
none.
now we'll kind of guarantees that they'll at least be aware.
So Al's gonna have the amendments, this is the first reading, so in the next.
It'll be, in the second reading will be the amendment as amended.
Roll call vote, Brian? Yes. Angela?
Yes.
David? Yes. Ed?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
I will have the amendments to Paula tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Busy man, huh?
Yeah.
Ordinance 2016-11, first reading, sponsored by Town Council, an ordinance amending Section 18.2, exemptions for persons over 65, senior exemption of the West Warwick Town Code. You want me to read this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Whereas West Warwick Town Council provided a resolution to Rhode Island General Assembly for authority to amend Rhode Island General Law 44-3-13.1 to specifically enable the town of West Warwick to an assessed value exemption up to the amount of $10,000. Whereas the General Assembly amended Rhode Island General Law 44-3-13.1, which allows West Warwick to allow the senior exemption to be up to $10,000 of the assessed value. Now therefore, it is hereby ordained by the West Warwick Town Council that the senior exemption will be $10,000 of assessed value and should be considered to be activated as of 12/31/15 for the 2016 tax roll.
I'll move the ordinance.
Second.
Moving second in discussion. Ed?
Is that what we wanted, $10,000 exemption?
Up to.
Up to.
Yeah, but the last part that she said didn't sound right. It said that we were going to do 10,000, not up to 10,000.
That's what you would want.
We wanted 10 grand with that and the disabled veterans.
That's $370.
Well, that's what we discussed at the,
Right
Up,
now,
up,
it's 140.
it should be up to, and the last
Exactly.
sentence actually said
So in the future
10,000.
years, we can up it more. This year, because of our budget, I think we have to go back, but I think it was what we had recommended was like maybe $80. Right now, it's 40. 100, what is it, 140 right now?
140, correct.
Yeah, 140.
Oh, sorry.
170 for the exemption.
I'm sorry, 170. Thanks, Christine. And, everything has to do with the budget. We need to
Well,
know
we're
what
going
the
to
impact
250.
was. And I thought we were going to go $80 more. And then, because we wanted it up to 10,000, we could do more as the budget allows it. That's it.
Right, so the ordinance was meant to put in place,
Agreed, yeah.
put in place the opportunity to raise it up to 10,000. Once the ordinance has first and second reading, the council will need to make a decision
Exactly.
about what the specific amount is, and it will require some analysis. As a matter of fact, Christine and I were having a brief conversation. There are some properties that actually will have more of an exemption amount because there's a different tax rate than the single family. So we'll have to do a full analysis to decide that rate, so the rate can actually be set forward. But the ordinance is meant to just,
Open it
not
up.
just, but to actually put it in place so it will be up to 10,000 of an
Exactly.
exemption
That's how I
amount.
understood it to be, and that's great.
Correct,
So
but-
the seniors are going to get something.
Correct.
Again, it all depends on the budget. We can look at the budget. Christine's going to work the numbers
Right.
to see what the impact will be and whether we can afford it.
But there does need to be
Yeah.
there does need to be an amendment to the document that Mary Ann did just read.
Because it's up to. She didn't say that
Correct.
in the last
The
piece.
very last paragraph.
Yep.
So it does need to be amended up to 10,000.
Yeah. Okay, so I make a motion that we amend this document so that it reads up to 10,000, not,
I'll second that.
And then after the second reading, we will look for the council to give us, we'll give information related to the amounts so that the actual rate can be set.
great. Very good. Thanks, Christine.
I have a motion to amend
And second.
up to 10,000, but I'd also like to omit, should this paragraph in the first reading print, that was in parentheses, that wasn't read.
I wasn't sure if I should read that.
No, that should be omitted.
Omitted.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you do two different amendments. You should,
I'll make an amendment to remove that part of the ordinance.
Second.
Well, I got a first one to amend to say
Paragraph 3.
up to.
right.
In paragraph
second
3.
it.
So all in favor to amend,
Aye.
Aye.
up to, okay. Now,
Now I'll
to
make-
remove, should this paragraph by in the first reading print taken out.
I'll make a motion to amend
Second.
that part of the.
All in favor for that amendment?
Aye.
I move the ordinance as amended.
Second.
Moving second. Any other discussion? Public discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Brian? Yes. Angela?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
All right, good.
Appointments and reappointments. Appointment for the Board of Assessment and Review. Resolve the Town Council hereby appoints the following individual to serve as a member of the Board of Assessment and Review for the Town of West Warwick for a term to expire 3/19.
I'll move the resolution.
Move the resolution for Board of Assessment. Second. Discussion?
I'll move the name, there's only one name here, Donald Carlson, to the Board of Review.
Is Donald here?
He wasn't able to make it tonight.
Okay, thanks.
Regrets he wasn't able to make it tonight.
Second. All in favor for Donald Carlson? Aye. Anybody else?
Aye.
You got two.
I got two.
Aye.
There you go.
Here we go.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Appointment for the Board of Tenant Affairs, Clyde Tower. Resolve the Town Council hereby appoints the following individual to serve as a member of the Board of Tenant Affairs for the Town of West Warwick for a term to expire 4/18.
I'll move the resolution.
I will second it.
Moving second.
Uh,
Discussion?
Bring the name of Laurie Ruggieri, who's a tenant at Clyde Towers. I know Laurie for a long time, and I think she'd be a great fit for this manor.
Second. And discussion, I'll agree with Angelo. Had some conversation with Laurie. We actually had a meeting a couple weeks ago, me and Representative Nunes, and I think that went pretty well, hopefully. I know there's been a couple issues since we've met, but we can go from there. And I'm sure Laurie will keep us informed on what's going on there also. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations, Laurie. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appointment to the Board of Tenant Affairs Public. Resolved that the Town Council hereby appoints the following individual to serve as a member of the Board of Tenant Affairs for the Town of West Warwick with a term to expire 2/17.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second. Discussion?
I'll move the name of Roger A. Noel.
Second.
Second.
Is Roger here?
Is he, Queen Ave? No, not a
That's mine.
public. That's yours, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Reappointment to the Planning Board. Resolved that the Town Council hereby reappoints the following individual to serve as a member of the Planning Board for the Town of West Warwick for a term to expire 7/21.
Move the resolution.
Second. Moving second, discussion?
To move the name of Joseph Gardassi.
Second.
Is Joseph here?
No.
I have a motion to move Joseph Gardasik, which he's already been on the board for a little while. So, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Reappointment for the Zoning Board of Review. Resolved that the Town Council hereby reappoints the following individual to serve as a member of the Zoning Board of Review for the Town of West Warwick for term to expire 7/21.
Move the resolution.
Move the resolution. Do I have a second? Did you not have a second.
Let the games begin.
Do not have a
Move
second.
on.
And I can,
Is there another recommendation?
I would recommend, if we're gonna not make a second on that motion, that we move the name of the alternate, Alan Horak, who's a Republican. He's actually from Brian's ward. He's been on the board for a few years, so I think we should move the alternate to the permanent position.
Can you do that legally without?
It's got to be re-advertised if you're not accepting the name. You can ask the
Well, it's been
solicitor
advertised 3 times already, so.
for a reappointment.
No, you might be right. Check with the solicitor.
We've got an issue of today's resolution that says reappoint, which doesn't make any sense because you don't know if the person was gonna be reappointed, so that should be appoint. And is there anything in from Horak?
I haven't received anything.
Doesn't he already sit as a alternate?
He's already sitting as an alternate, so he probably wouldn't send anything. We can wait until another time, I'm not worried about that, but.
Well, my suggestion would be is that if there was never a name put into play to begin with. It just, the resolution was moved without a name. The resolution was not seconded. Now, you're moving the resolution and trying to put in a name that's not before you. I just don't know.
Can leave it on.
Does Mr. Godarzik express an interest?
Can I ask,
The issue too is would be, does Mr. Hart want to be a full-time?
Well, has he expressed an interest in being a permanent
Not that I'm
member?
aware of, I just know there's an alternate.
In my opinion, you should wait to see if he's interested.
and why,
I have no problem.
why, may I ask, wouldn't anyone want to move a name to a person, which is no secret, it's Patricia Morgan, name to be reappointed to the planning board? Did she,
Because I have an issue, and I've had this conversation with her, and I think
Put on
the
your microphone.
majority of us have had this conversation with each other. Angela, you're an elected official, you had to come off the planning
no,
board.
I'm just asking for a reason.
I'm gonna give you my personal reasons. And actually, I'll second it for discussion, just so we can get into
Right.
discussion.
Wait. What are you seconding?
We didn't move anybody's name, I'm seconding
Yeah, we didn't move the name, it's just a
The
resolution.
resolution was moved
Resolution.
without a name.
Right,
without a name, never seconded. I'll second the
Yeah,
resolution
second the resolution.
for my
just for
discussion.
discussion.
Okay.
Reason why I feel this way, Angelo, is, and you were on the planning board, when you got elected, you had to come off the planning board, correct?
Yes,
Okay. State representative, who represents a very large district in West Warwick, doesn't have to come off the board, which I have no idea why, because politics can be played when it comes time for a development in that district. And
I understand
I've been
all
to
that.
meetings, and I've seen what's going on,
Well, let
and
me-
I personally think that no elected official should be on any board in the town of West Warwick. Now, the state law and the town law, I'm not sure with, but that's the reason why I'm not
I
reappointed.
agree, but now let me, in all due respect to Timmy's brother, deceased, Jimmy, which was a good friend of mine, he was put on the school committee, and he was chairman of the planning board. And Jimmy kept his seat on a planning board, and it was always reappointed, and now it's not because I'm sticking up for one individual, believe me, because I had my own problems with a development that I could say the same thing. But I just wanted to know when do we not reappoint a member who's been on there? And I got your reason, David, but it seems like this is, it's good for one, but not good for the other. And there was a few more appointments that were overlooked, that let them continue to be on when they held another office. So, I mean, Rini resigned when he made school committee.
He was
I
forced.
had to when I was on the planning board. Now, all of a sudden, if it was so important, why didn't we just take her off when she made a rep?
I'll be honest, I was told right out by state law, you really can't, and I didn't want to go through the process of going through and doing a rescind of votes and so on, and do that, so I let her finish out her term, And that's how I feel about it, and I don't know how the rest of the council feels. I know,
Just wanted to bring up,
Councilman Tucker, do you have anything to say on it? Or Councilman Kennahan or Giroux? I mean, I personally think that's the reason why.
I think there's potential conflict, there always has been, and, following some of the minutes and some of the things that I've heard, I respectfully, I think she served her term, and,
When does the term expire?
I think it already expired, to tell you the truth. They've been
Yeah, it expired.
advertising it for
Yeah, 3 weeks.
at least 3 weeks.
6
Three
meetings.
times,
3
madam.
times.
A month and a half.
So again, that's my reasonings behind it. It's nothing personal. I just think that sitting representative should not be on, especially on the state side. I mean, to me, I think that's a little more drastic than the town side. I
Oh,
mean,
it
the
is.
state side,
because of the
you can
potential. Yeah, you're
make
right.
things work in different ways,
The clout that-
especially
the
when,
clout that they have.
especially when attorneys are coming here who are at the State House themselves and coming for projects, and it becomes very sketchy, I just don't want to see it that way. I want to keep the town of West Warwick moving forward, continue doing what we do, and I think, like I said, I think we have an alternate on there, that's a Republican, because it is a Republican seat, that
It's
could
also
fill
the
those roles.
Democratic chairman's brother-in-law.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know his family history.
Just to put that on record.
Well, again, if you want somebody else, you can bring somebody else, but I mean,
Well, they gotta put their names in, and that's for
again,
the council to vote.
Randy Kutsu, I even forgot about him, he's sitting there, he even came to me and asked me about staying on. There was no way he could stay on, and he's on the school committee, has nothing to do with developments in the town, but he had to resign. To me, a state rep who's possibly bringing business or developments into the town should not be on the zoning board.
As a member of the zoning board, when I was elected, I had to resign.
No,
Because
you
of
were
the
on there too?
Yeah.
Wow, so, I mean, that's just my concern. So,
All right.
nobody
what's
moved the
next?
name, so we'll just re-advertise.
What else we got?
Discussion action, West Warwick Fall Festival Celebration, Councilman Kennahan.
I emailed Paul asking her to put this on the agenda just because I know we're getting to the tipping point where we put money into the budget to have this festival and have it somewhat mirror, what was done for the centennial celebration, and we are getting dangerously close to the
Yeah.
time where it can't happen this year. And I know that there's a lot going on with everyone right now, so I just wanted to put this on here to see if the council feels that we should try and go for this fall.
Well, I think.
Fred, do you want to talk about it?
What do you need?
We've actually, I've set up a small committee myself. Elaine Mansour and Libby Cato have been working on a proposed event. So we actually met twice now. We've also gone out, we've solicited, we're getting prices from fireworks companies. What we're proposing is a fall festival that would be sometime, and we're targeting that first weekend in October, like October 1st. We're just checking any conflicts with the field schedules and the school schedules and things like that right now. And we're also checking on a couple of possible bands that might play for that event. What we're also talking about is to do, because as a fall festival theme, to have a special farmer's market as part of it in the early part of the day, and to have we've looked at what other areas have done for fall festivals throughout the country, and something that kind of sparked my interest was what's called a pumpkin derby, where they have kids decorate pumpkins, and they actually put axles with wheels on them and create a pine box derby track, and the kids race the pumpkins. And they're very popular in other states, and no one does it in Rhode Island. So I thought it'd be a unique way to get the kids involved. And so right now we expect to have more formal prices and proposals. We're also looking into sponsorship now as well. So we think it's doable, and with the time frame that we have, we are working towards that, and we're open to,
No,
obviously,
and that's
suggestions.
fantastic.
And I was going to bring it up in manager's report
Yeah,
anyway,
I
but I
think you
saw
want
you put it
to, I
on.
think you want to let us know about all this work that you've done on this. That's fantastic, and thank you, everybody that has
Yeah.
done that. But I do believe this is the people's event, and I think you should get some input and some participation, like an events committee that can work with the town. So
Absolutely.
people can
Yeah.
get involved in this. I mean, and it's great. And you guys seem to have the time during the day to do all this and do all the legwork and the back work. Fantastic. He's going to make it happen.
Absolutely.
He's going to make it happen.
No, it's fantastic.
But
Let me
I
know
think-
when they meet. I would like to be part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to
Yeah.
be part of it too. You know,
Absolutely.
having started the first one and
Yep.
the Centennial Committee, and Angela
Actually,
also.
we've been trying to get more details
Yeah.
on some of the vendors that you use for the centennial celebration.
Firework
and
guy
Right,
would,
right.
I know we asked Ann about it.
And this is great. I mean,
yeah.
to have all this,
This is
all this work
this is
behind the
just-
scenes.
This is just the very
Oh, no,
beginning stages of it. We
fantastic.
have started that process. We're getting all the prices.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring it up tonight and ask for input and how you'd like to move forward with that. But like you, because we didn't have another meeting in June, we figured we were losing time, so we wanted to get it going.
Yeah.
We had the
So-
discussion at Ed's house the last Centennial meeting, and
Yeah.
I already contacted someone for the fireworks also.
Yeah.
And see what they would do for a deal, and
The beauty of
whatever we
If you
could
have
do.
the contact information for that,
Yeah.
that's one thing we
I
need.
mean, that's,
And that's
beat
why
the
you want the
price on
input.
everything.
of people
Absolutely.
that have done
And
it
we've had, like I
before.
said, we've reached out to Ann, see if she had any of the documents for it
Exactly.
and stuff
And
like
so,
that.
I mean, I propose, again, I don't want to dampen the spirit
Nope.
of what you're doing, because I think it's fantastic, because it probably wouldn't get done with your help and the staff help. And thanks everybody for doing it, like you've done in the
a lot
past
of work.
for the Christmas tree light, and like you've done in the past, like the antique cars, that type of thing. This is a citizens event every year that we hope to do every single year. We had recommended, I think, $15,000 in our budget
Yep.
specifically for this event.
Yep.
People, I think, like the idea. I really think they loved what happened
They did.
in the Centennial. We need to do that again.
Yeah.
So West Warwick has an event every year.
Yep.
And with the help of the town, because things can really move fast, I think you need an events committee so that
Yeah.
people are aware, they're part of it, they can give you some input, and I'm recommending that.
Let's,
No, absolutely.
I think the event, I like the idea of the events committee. Let's get through this one year, just because I know it's coming up really fast, and then we can talk about creating an events committee,
Well, even for this year, anybody that wants to be involved in the planning, we welcome your input.
But it's gonna be more informal and
Email
kinda-
me, my email address is on the website, fpresley@westwarwickri.org. Be happy to, have you come and sit in on these meetings. We want the input, like I said, we just wanted
Oh,
to get
sure.
the ball rolling, get ideas flowing,
Absolutely.
so that we could recommend something.
I thought the
So-
beauty of that centennial event was
Fantastic.
its simplicity.
Yep.
Like, there
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
wasn't a lot going on, but it was just very
Oh.
nice.
It was nice with the little beer and wine.
The other piece,
garden.
yeah,
Yeah.
we wanted to see if you wanted to add that piece again, the beer
No,
and
I
wine.
thought that was very nice.
And
Oh,
then,
absolutely, yeah.
and then the final part is for food, what we thought would be a nice touch would be to do a food truck night.
And because it's in October,
Yeah,
you'll have a better shot, because
Yeah.
September, believe it or not,
Yeah,
is
they're
very,
busy.
very busy.
exactly.
For food trucks.
Yes.
They're all up in New Hampshire, or there are all sorts of events, Oktoberfest, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, you got,
in
in
September.
October, you gotta worry about the Situate Art Festival and stuff like
Yeah,
that too. But
but that's
again,
That's Columbus.
Senator Satchel has reached out to me to discuss
Yep.
a food truck night, and I think he's talked to you about it.
I talked to him about this, I mentioned, because he met with me
So
day
I think,
before yesterday,
I
so
think
our
he'll get
Friday
very well
and-
involved into it
Yeah.
also, so if we can work with him.
Yep,
So, yeah, I'd like to make it a council event. So-
absolutely.
So we want to be involved,
Yeah.
what's going on, and also invite the public.
Agreed.
And again, what you're going to announce tonight, maybe we can use that to
Yes.
get them involved. Okay, great.
It's good.
Great.
Right, Dave?
Very cool.
Great.
I'm happy.
Yeah, me too. Oktoberfest. Everybody loves fireworks.
We're gonna come up with a name for it. Notice I put the slash in there, I didn't know what to call it.
What's Warwick thing? The thing. Thanks, Frank.
All right, well, you want to start with,
Yeah, this is exciting. This is really cool, because this is what I've done for many, many years, informing people. West Warwick, we're probably the most transparent government in Rhode Island, I think. And we've got the website that's been improving steadily. We've got Code Red now that informs the people right away, during snowstorms, and we've used it for other things to inform the people. We've got the video streaming that's going on where people can get closer. And what Fred is about to announce that he and his directors have been working on is something that I use in the agency to inform people. And I think it's great. Again, another vision, and he moves things very quickly. We've got this ready to go this week that he's about to announce, and I think it's going to be a great tool, and the whole idea is to connect people with their government, all right?
So what we've done is we've created a monthly newsletter that will be a digital newsletter that people can subscribe to. So they can they can either send us their email addresses and we'll just subscribe them, or they can get forwarded this information, or we can post it on Facebook pages and things like that, and they can subscribe that way. And essentially what it's about is it's going to be just news and information, events, what's going on, anything that would be useful for people to know. A lot of the information you might find on our website, a lot of the stuff is new, like specific stories with a little more in-depth information. Like we have a story this month on the wind turbines, and also on the rating agency increase that we just received from Fitch. Information about the summer concert series at the gazebo. We can talk about the fall event as another idea. And what I've tried to do is get all the departments to submit information to us. We won't have every department every month, but as it fits, the idea is to make it short enough so that people will look through it and not be cumbersome. And the way these constant contact emails work, if you're not familiar with them, you'll see a story like the wind turbines, and you'll just see a little snippet of the article, and then you can click on the read more, and it takes you to another page, and then you can see the whole article. So that is something that we've been working towards, and oops, did I lose it? So
That's incredible.
The potential for this, guys, is just, and we all have been fighting for transparency in government.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just another tool, and there's more to come.
It's
There's-
overwhelming. Just looking
no,
at it.
it's very simple.
If
You
it
can,
interests me,
yep.
I'll go deeper.
Exactly. If you want to see more, you can click through. It'll have schedules. It'll have information about trash pickup, special, any changes with holiday schedules, and it'll just be a great way for people to know what's going on if you're not up on the website all the time. And we're also going to have a what people are saying section, so people can email comments if they just send an email to TMO, or Town Manager's Office, at westwarwickri.org, and just put newsletter in the subject line. You can, any comments you want to submit, any questions you have, and we can have a department head answer them for you. So it's an opportunity for you to engage that might not have been there before, and it's information, particularly if it's information we feel that other people would benefit from. Like if you have a question, we're like, people will benefit from that. It's an opportunity for you to.
Yeah, and there's things just tonight that we could include. I mean, we could have it once a month. We could have it as often as we want. Like Red Code Alert, we use it when we need to use it.
Absolutely.
It's just an exciting tool. It's a simple tool. Again, we use it at the Rhode Island Department of Education, and it's just fantastic. And again, more is coming. Interaction, more interaction. Our video streaming. There's things that we can do there. It's all about bringing the people to the government. Now, if they don't know about it, they're not gonna subscribe. It's not online yet, but if you send an email to TMO at westwarwickri.org, and you put in the subject line,
Newsletter and subscribe in the
right,
text.
newsletter, subscribe.
We will add that email to the list, and you can add other emails in the body of the message if you want to put your whole family in there, and we'll set those all up for you.
And the URL where you can go directly to the site will be available very, very soon. Probably Thursday?
Thursday at the latest.
Yeah, Thursday at the latest. And again, walking around the last few weeks, I'm just amazed on how much people don't know what's going on. I mean, I had people that didn't know we had windmills. And whose fault is that? I mean, the council is trying to do everything we can to bring this information to the people. And now I'm asking that we print up some cards in our travels, knocking on doors, even for all the candidates, to have a little card that they'll pass out about West Warwick Connects with the URL and instructions and quick synopsis for what it is, and pass it out to everybody, every household, so that we can get these people to subscribe. And I'm also amazed how many seniors use, the web and Facebook and all the social media. And this is another step to get the people to understand what's going on, ask questions, push back, get involved in the government. I mean, that's what I've been doing for 13 years, to try to get it, even in my career. That's what I've been doing, with websites and databases and stuff like that to inform the public. I think it's great. Congratulations again for doing this. This is a vision a few years back. I don't know if you remember where we wanted to build a site to do this, and now the technology is allowing us to do it. So again, congratulations, guys. This is I think very big to get out there, get the information out there. I'm very excited about it.
And if any council member has, if you saw, I have a manager's message. I'll do that every month unless a council member wants to do the message that month to focus on something going on in the ward, and we can schedule time for all of you. And I think it would be good for people to hear what's going on in the other wards as well. So so that's out there too. So we can have a Ward 1 message from Council Member Padula and whatever. And what I try to do, what I've directed the directors to do is, number one, provide us lots of pictures, because pictures are important. And number two is to keep the articles, even the full articles, fairly brief. So 300 to 350 words is usually what we target. If it's more, if the content drives it, that's fine. But try to keep them brief so that people can, but always give links to more information for people.
Sure. Beauty of the internet.
Yeah.
So fantastic. But the thing is, we've got to promote it. We've got to get it out there. We want every household to subscribe to this. So very shortly on Thursday, it will be on our website.
Yep.
But if you want to subscribe right now, again, I'll say it again, TMO, Town Manager's Office, TMO at westwarwickri.org. And in the subject line, say
Newsletter,
subscribe. Okay? No space in between? Or
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
As long as we get the gist,
Right.
we can.
Newsletter,
add that email.
subscribe. They're going to take that. All we want right now is your email address. If you want to put your address and your name, that's fine too. Some systems do that. But if you don't, that's fine. All we need is your email address. You send that out to TMO at westwarwickri.org with newsletter, subscription, or subscribe. They'll know what it is, and they will put you on the list, okay?
So who's going to be the first one on Facebook to put this on there tonight?
Me.
Well, and they'll be, and we'll ask everybody to put it on Facebook, on their Facebook pages,
No,
on
I'm
everything,
saying,
just get the word
because
out.
we've been putting stuff out there
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I just wanted to know who's going to be the first one to put it on there.
You think about things like the road construction.
All sorts of things.
Be able to tell people in
There is-
advance, hey, your street is
Yeah.
going this
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
this date.
And that's why we're making it
The
monthly,
public
because
skate
there's a
day,
lot of timely
Yeah,
information.
absolutely.
Quarterly just wouldn't be.
perfect spot for you for
Valid
public
enough.
skating.
All sorts of things. I mean, but the key is, what's that?
Budget workshops.
Budget workshops, but the key is to get them to subscribe right now.
Oh, yeah.
We need them to subscribe. I want thousands on there.
Yeah.
Our system will be able to handle it.
I think we can get 2,000.
And it might create more work for our directors, but too bad. No, I think it's going to be great. All of our efforts are.
I did
are
get
to
the guy rolls when I
connect the
said you
people.
need to write articles for this, but.
Yeah, right. West Warwick Connects.
All right. Thank you. Anything else from Fred?
Yeah, a couple things. Just to give you an update on the IT RFQ, we did go out for requests for qualifications for new IT services here in Town Hall. We had about 7 proposals that were submitted, or qualifications that were submitted. We are in the process of interviewing the top 3. Our interview committee consists of myself, John Semino. Police and fire departments are also involved because they have a lot of specialized IT needs. And so those are going well. We've had 2 interviews thus far and tours of our system, and we have a 3rd one that's scheduled for Thursday.
Are they firms? Are they people?
They're firms. I mean, we really felt it was important that we get full service because our needs have increased greatly. A big concern of mine has been backups, which we've taken care of in this last year before we upgraded our servers. But now just the system security with all the hacking that's going on, and municipalities are more and more becoming targets of that. And we deal with a lot of information about our citizens, and we want to make sure that we have the best security possible. So it's these larger firms that are able to provide that at a level that I feel is appropriate. And so we've like I said, we're almost through that process, and then we'll be making a recommendation at the next meeting about who to go with. So that's that.
It's a big problem.
It is a big problem.
A huge problem. Systems, ransom is
Huge.
prevalent everywhere.
Yeah.
It's coming in from China.
Yep.
We were told from the state police. And it could be coming in from all sorts of places, but they're pretty sure, overseas. And education sites are being hit.
Yeah.
Government sites are being hit. And it's a real problem.
So we need to get ahead of it and step up. And the final thing I just wanted to point out, I'm actually going to be on vacation the week of August 15th through the 19th, which will be our next meeting. So I just want to let you know that was a scheduled family vacation, so I will not be around. So with your okay, I'll put John in as acting while I'm gone.
Does he get to run it from that chair?
If he wants.
We'll walk in that week, he'll be upstairs, feet up on the desk. Yeah, but even upstairs.
So,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
And finance report.
Just wanted to mention a couple of things, as the council's aware, but the public may not be aware. The Fitch rating did come back, and we have received excellent news. And it is in the newsletter as well. I did provide Fred with a summary and kind of just a timeline. And where actually the town is now at the rating that existed back in 2010. So it's been 6 years. And it talks about, just briefly described when it was the lowest and, how it's been increasing over the last few years. And the biggest reason for that is simply that the 5-year plan, is working. And the rating agencies have recognized that. So we do have it. It is posted. The actual press release is on the town website in the important documents area as well as on the finance page. And it is mentioned in the newsletter. So we'll hope that the word will get out there because it is excellent news to hear that we're back up to, where we were.
And again, go ahead, Ed, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, talk to live. I'll ask a
I just
question.
want, first of all, say thank you to everybody who has supported the 5-year plan over the past 3 years. People who have worked on the plan, supported our budgets. Thank the council who have worked hard, the town manager, department heads, the town employees. I got to sit on that conference call that day, and it was I think I congratulated Fred and John for their presentation. It was written really well. Had all the bullet points of what's going on in the town, the positive and some negative. They did share some concerns with us, and after I got off the phone call, I was still wondering if our bond rating would go up, and having a brief conversation with John. They have a new way of rating, and we were kind of nervous because it could be a tougher way to rate us, in which it is a tougher way to rate us right now, and it still went up. So, thank you to everybody who supported it and continued moving West Warwick forward. It has been a long 6 years, going, like you said, we're back to 2010, so hopefully in 2016, 17, we'll see that A plus rating, and, that's being optimistic, but I think within the next couple of years, you may see that.
Yeah.
And I think, it's been a little bit of a success story in West Warwick, so.
And the press release does mention, the things, the strides that have been made, but it also, continues to point out the growing concerns. Obviously, we are addressing the pension, the pension obligation, and the 5-year plan hinges on that actually continuing, and that is one of their concerns and one of the things they pointed out, because they do actually point out what could derail the situation in terms of if something.
They were even concerned with election. They were concerned with election time, Fred's stability of being here, department head stability of being here. There was a lot of things, and if anybody ever attends one of those conference calls, it gets very interesting, especially when they start asking you questions of, well, what do you see come November? Is it going to be a group that's going to come in and disrupt West Warwick and bring it back to 2010 to 2012 or whatever? And those are the questions that were asked. And, we had to give some sort of assurance that, that we think the town's going to continue moving forward, that the voters and the taxpayers are going to see the positives that have happened over the past 3 years with this 5-year plan. And that's what they were concerned with. There were many different concerns, and we had to assure them that, you know, in come November and whatever, that, you know, the town will still be moving forward no matter who's here. I mean, it could be 5 new council members, but we had to assure them, and 3 new school committee members, that we had to assure them that this administration would keep this town stable and steady. And I think we did a good job that day, and especially you two, and who else was in the room? There was somebody else.
Joe Spagner and
Joe from
Karen
and
Tavasavage.
Karen Tarasavage. They did a wonderful job explaining what's going on. And they even got into a little bit of surpluses and where the money's going, and they were happy with that one-time items weren't going to be taxed and stuff like that. So again, Ed.
Well, I just want to say, again, it's not just us saying the town's doing better. These are people, a company, they get very stringent rules and regulations, and they're saying we're doing better. We're in our 3rd year of our 5-year plan, and I always said from the very beginning, right, the voters, our constituency, will have 5 times to vote this down or vote it up, all right? And that is a risk. And I thank the public for having confidence in this administration and this council to vote, in many cases overwhelmingly, to support the 5-year plan. It's working. We need your support to keep it going. There's 2 more votes. We need your support. What we had planned originally for tax increases, we're below that. Things are better than we had anticipated. And again, thanks, John. Thanks, Fred, and all your directors that have worked so hard on this. It's working. There's no doubt about it. West Warwick is better, and we're on our way up. And thanks again.
I just want to cut
Sure.
you off. And again, you know, we have a 5-year plan in place, and we knew how long it took us to build that 5-year plan. I personally think as a council that we should start, in the town manager and everybody involved should start working on an additional 5-year plan, so when that one is up, we have some sort of plan in place, not a year by year. Because I know when I first came on the council in '06, it was year by year by year, and we're like, well, wait a minute, we have no plans. I know personally, I think everybody sets their goals in their own house, where they're gonna be in 5 years, 10 years, and hopefully the bright old age of retirement. You know, and I think that we need to continue doing 5-year plans every.
It should
4
be,
or 5 years.
really should be a rolling 5-year plan.
Moving
Correct.
forward, we've been referring to it as the 5-year plan because this one has certain things in it that are important. But moving forward, every time you complete a year, you should be adding a year at the end.
Correct.
So you should have this
Rolling.
5-year plan. And I know that the one that we currently have now, which we call the 5-year plan, is something special, and there's a lot in it that's important, both from a legal aspect as long as with other things. So, but anyway, just to echo what Councilman Goslin and Giroux were saying, we've been harping the council that the 5-year plan is going to get us out of this. The 5-year plan is going to get us out of this. For the average person that might be watching at home that doesn't know how this works, this is essentially the town's credit rating. And the town essentially was told that it has no credit. We were going to be junk, and we just received that upgrade, which validates all this work. There's nothing else that could validate this. There's no bias here. These are financial experts that tell billionaire companies how to invest their money, so they don't lie. They scrutinize every possible aspect of what your entity is worth. So when they're telling us that we get an upgrade, nobody is bribing them or confusing them or trying to, in any way sway them. They're doing this from a pure financial thing. So I was so happy when I read this, when this came out, because it really validated all this work, because it's a grind. I mean, even from the council, and I can imagine from Fred's perspective, the grind that he had to put in. You don't drink coffee anymore, right? But I'm so happy, and I put it online a while back because it was just one of those posts where I wasn't even thinking, I was just typing because I was so happy for the town. And I mean, it really, like I said, validates all the work that everyone's done, from the town council to the administration to the schools to the teachers, police, fire, municipal, the taxpayers, everyone. Like, we came together as a community and we made this work. So now the town, we're not East Providence, we're not Central Falls, we're West Warwick. We're the community that actually made it work, and I'm just blown away and very happy.
And the rating increase it'll cost us less now for the borrowing, because we do have, the wind turbines that we're still seeking the permanent financing for, which I was also going to touch on
Well,
briefly.
that's what people, and I think, David, you alluded to, that's what people really want to know. Our bond rating went up.
Right.
Typical person. I mean, tell us, John, what does that mean?
It
Why is
could
it so good?
potentially, it could potentially mean about $30,000 approximately in savings on $1 million bond.
Right off the bat.
Right, so at 12 million, I mean, it can be substantial. But again, it's as you issue,
A person's credit
new
rating
debt.
determines
Correct.
what rate they get on mortgages and
Correct.
loans.
There you
This
go.
determines
Right.
the rate we get on mortgages and bonds and
No,
Big
we were-
difference
we
is
were
we're
for-
talking millions of dollars in bonds.
Right.
and
yeah,
I mean,
not thousands.
Finances versus my $150,000 loan.
We were fortunate that, we did have the short-term bans or the bond anticipation notes that we did issue for the turbines to make the project happen so that it would be online. And now we're actually at the point where we're looking into the permanent financing. We did receive some financing through the Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank. We actually had the closing last week. They gave us approximately $5.8 million, or the equivalent of one turbine. And now we have a bond anticipation note that's maturing in August that we're going to roll for one more year. Again, because we also have Moody's. We have a call with Moody's coming up in August. And we expect that they would have a similar type of action. And then we will actually seek the permanent financing for the wind turbine, the 12 million that we haven't yet secured. So again, it's going to save some money on that as well.
Yeah.
Can I,
Excellent.
can I just
you know,
echo
Right.
some of the sentiments?
Well,
A-.
A minus from triple B minus.
From triple B minus, correct.
Brian?
It's good.
Two steps,
We went two steps up.
two full steps.
I'd like to echo a couple of the comments that were said here. One of the things I'd like to see us do is not wait until this particular 5-year plan is
No,
almost
that's
up. Keep it rolling. Reach out to the stakeholders in advance. Let them know they're part of this. The union members, employees, everybody involved, the school.
Meet with them.
Exactly. And keep everybody informed
Start
so
working on the next round.
everybody knows where each other is coming from, and we're not going to hopefully get into those, messes that we were, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever.
Anything else, John?
Much less less big news than that. We did actually advertise the RFP for the external audit. We do, as I mentioned in the previous meeting, we did have to go through a rebid process. The bids are actually due on Friday. Once we do get them, we'll do an analysis, and we intend on presenting that to the council at the next meeting in August. So we'll see how that goes. I already mentioned the Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank in terms of the financing for the wind turbines. They also gave us approximately $350,000 to $400,000 for building efficiency programs, which we're doing at the DPW building as well as both buildings at the Civic Center complex, as we're calling it, including insulation, replacing doors, and different things like that to actually get some energy efficiency savings. So that's good news. So continuing to make improvements at the facilities, at the Civic Center, as well as taking a look at DPW.
Thank you.
Okay,
Any questions for John? Thank you, John.
thank you.
Another great find, by the way. John.
All right, upcoming appointments. Juvenile Hearing Board, Patuxent River Authority, Recreation Committee, Planning Board, Board of Tenant Affairs, Board of Assessment and Review, which we already filled. Arctic Redevelopment Commission, we do have an opening on that board, and that board's starting to move forward, so we should try to advertise that a little more. Sewer Use Tax Board of Review, Zoning Board of Review, and now public comment. Anything from the council?
Yeah, in Ward 3, I'd just like to say thank you. I usually say that. There is a lot of activity on Factory Street. As you can see, the bypass piping is in place. So let me warn everybody that it's not going to be pleasant. The traffic, it might be horrendous. You might want to avoid that road once they start digging. I don't know what the timetable is right now. I'll be posting the actual map that Kent County gave me. Basically, all of the roads up on the hill in Ward 3 are going to be redone by the Water Authority, which is a good thing, but you're going to have to be patient. They're going to repave like all those roads from curb to curb, and we'll be paying close attention up there. So I know there will be disruptions. I'll get phone calls, but they have begun. Again, yeah, right. It seems like those bypass pipes are there forever.
Forever.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll get it done quickly. That's the first phase, Factory Street. And we've got so many things that we can talk about that's going on. We've got the Civic Center playground area where we've got a grant in right now with DEM, which involves playground at the River Point Park. It involves playground up at Factory Street, which is my baby. You know, we've from $50,000, I'm trying to have Fred parlay that into more money. We have a grant.
Parlay it, huh?
Yeah, right. No gambling. No gambling. No gun. Just a
gambling
figure of
this time.
speech.
No casinos.
Right. We have.
Just don't take the Yankees.
Right. We have, right now, the plan for up there, and this is another thing I want to get people involved. I'm looking also for somebody to appoint to the Recreation Committee in Ward 3. So if you're interested, please just call the town clerks or the office, town hall office, to get the paperwork to be on a committee. It's very simple. And we've got things from an orchard that we're planning up there, a playground, and even maybe not too far out, a little splash pad too. We've already started getting prices on these things. We've secured already at least $50,000. That was my discretionary funding that I actually have been saving up. That's from like 3 years ago, waiting for DEM maybe or someone to have grants to match that, and the time is now. So hopefully we get that. Whether we do or not, the playground is still a go. I've contacted local contractors for some in-kind contribution. I've got some. So the excavation up there is I'll say it. Jared Nunes has volunteered to do the work up there as far as the excavation. So I'm very grateful for that. It's just so many things going on. Next meeting, I'll talk about. I've talked to the manager about this. I've talked to David about this. We have a plan right now, not a plan, where people can fix their sidewalks, and we pay for, I think, up to $1,000, 50%. I'm proposing, and I hope others will do it if they can do it. Take some of the road bond money. And I've talked to the manager. He said it would be absolutely acceptable, and raise that up temporarily to 80%, where the town will pay 80%. I've been walking the neighborhoods, especially back in Arctic, and the sidewalks are in terrible shape. So we could use some of this road bond money. We'll have to put limits on it naturally, but we have that in place right now. It's just that it's up to $1,000, and it's 50%. And I'd like to propose increasing that. And it's a proposal right now, 80%, 20%. It's going to be, for a short time, but it might stimulate some repairs on sidewalks in my ward. And I absolutely, invite the other council members to do the same thing. It is acceptable. Fred said it's infrastructure. We can use it for that. And it certainly needs it. In my ward, there's a lot of areas where the sidewalks are really deteriorated and dangerous too. So this is a way where we can pay for most of it, but we need participation from the homeowner and the property owner. So I'll be putting that in a form of an ordinance probably.
Temporary.
Yeah, or a temporary amendment to our, I mean,
Right, to
it's
put a
their
time
money.
limit
This
to it.
bond money is their money. It's for roads, it's for infrastructure, so why not let the people get it back directly to help improve their own property?
Curb appeal.
Yeah, curb appeal, right, exactly.
But I don't know how far $1,000 is gonna go, because I just let Dave, a couple months.
Oh, no, we would increase that.
Just for the curbing at Tanglewood that our plows destroyed in the salt. You're looking at $280,000, and that's just straight curbs.
Oh, yeah,
That's no sidewalks.
Yep.
So,
We've got to start somewhere. No, I agree. No, I agree. There's got to be, that's why I said there's got to be restrictions.
Nothing's ever cheap.
That's just curbing,
But-
not sidewalks, so
but
$1,000 will probably get you a 2 foot by 2 foot.
Well, it's not $1,000 anymore. That's what we're gonna change that. $1,000, it's just, that's something that was back in the 80s.
You're not getting no sidewalk done for $2,000.
No, I'm saying 80%.
80%. Small sidewalk, like a 2 foot by 2 foot.
I want to return that money to the people that want to improve their property. That's what we want to do. We need curb appeal. We want to clean neighborhoods. fixing up the sidewalks is just not going to solve all of our problems, but it's a piece of it. And it's an incentive for people to help clean up their property. And I hope it works. But it's their money. I want to give it back to them.
You all set, Ed?
Yeah, thanks a
You're
lot.
long-winded tonight. Brian?
As unpleasant a subject as this is, I think it's something that this council has to discuss in light of recent events. Yesterday, council members were made aware that a lawsuit was brought against Councilman Padula by his opponent in the upcoming election. I'm not going to get into the specifics of what these allegations are. My question is really more to the town solicitor as to, we're in uncharted territory here. Where does the town council go with what's been...
I don't think you're in uncharted territory. The complaint was made to the Board of Canvassers, and the Board of Canvassers is going to address it, from my understanding from speaking to the clerk, tomorrow at 2:30. So right now, it's really not an issue for the town council, because the statute is clear that the Board of Canvassers undertakes these types of matters, and then if there's an appeal from that, it would go to the Board of Elections. So there's nothing pending before the town council. And well,
3:30 tomorrow.
I'm sorry, it's 3:30 tomorrow. And it's not a lawsuit either. There's nothing seeking damages, it's just there's a complaint being filed. But there's nothing there's no issue for the town council. I mean, you've been put on notice, but under the charter, the delegation of that authority goes to the Board of Canvassers. That's basically it.
All right. Just a couple of quick things. I forgot to mention, I got a text message. We need one citation corrected. The last name was spelled wrong. It was spelled right on the list, but spelled wrong in the citation. And then I didn't recognize Christopher Busquet, who I missed his name, actually sending it over to you, so that was my fault. So we just need 2 more citations for those 2 young gentlemen, 9-year-olds, if we could pass that down. I want to touch on a little something that's come to my attention, and and I remember budget time, and I know I had a brief conversation with John on Sunday. Regards of the sewer bills that have gone out. After seeing one of the constituents of mine sewer bill today, she has a 2-family house on Bradley Court, and she has a single-family house on Harris Avenue. And I was going through it with her, and I was explaining her bill. Well, I was expecting a minimum use charge of $142 if you don't minimum use it. But she has a 2-family house that she uses only 3,800 cubic feet, which she doesn't meet on the 4,000. But she has now seen $284 because it's $142 per unit. To me, there's one sewer pipe coming out of there, one water line going in there, but yet she's getting charged $284 based on usage. Now she's got a 2-family, and they're expecting her to use a minimum of 8,000 cubic feet. That was not explained to me in the budget.
They did say per unit.
I just explained to Ed, a friend of mine's a 9-unit. $2,700 more.
Yeah.
Because it's each unit, and I said the same thing. And there's one sewer pipe going into that, and they said, no, it's 9 separate dwellings. So you can imagine if someone has 50 units.
But there's one water line coming in, and that's how they judge your water. How can we charge minimal usage for 2 units? That's what I'm trying to figure out, is if I had 2 sewer lines coming in, I can understand that. If I had 2 water lines coming in, I got 1 water line, they base me on 1 water bill, they get me on 1 sewer bill, but they're gonna hit me for 2 minimum charges. That's what I'm concerned with.
But it is, and we've got to review this, I think. But we can review the streaming tape also, video on it. And I remember that we brought up the minimum, and the calculation was very exact. It was explained to us that it was so many gallons as rationale.
And again, I might have missed something.
So if you have 9 units, I mean, again, I'm not defending this. We've got to look at this because it's it's much higher than I anticipated it would be. But if you've got one unit, and they said minimum usage for water, taking showers, flushing the toilet, watering the lawn, whatever, is so much. Well, if you got another one, you got another family or whatever living in that unit, so they're going to use what we have calculated as the minimum. So that's why they're charging each person. Now, maybe the minimum is too high. Maybe we have to adjust that. But also, this is also based and calculated on what their needs are in their budget, right? We're not taking the money out of the surplus anymore that we've been doing for years.
No, and I
right?
understand
Now
that.
the people are paying for it.
I get that it's water under the bridge at this point, but I brought this up.
Well, not necessarily.
Water in a sewer line.
Whatever. Sorry, it wasn't even intentional. I said from the onset, this happened last year, and this year it came up and somebody said to me, hey, you gonna, bust the beans of the sewer commission for coming up with the minimum use charge? And I said, I'm a firm believer in what you use is what you pay for. And the argument was brought to us yet again that there's these fixed costs. So the council went through and the council decided to put forward this minimum use. And now we're seeing the ramifications of this minimum use because it's a minimum use per unit.
And it's still a third of the fixed cost.
Well, this is the unique part of it was this individual shared her tax bill from last year and the year before. And her sewer usage at the time for a two-family house, and it was $96 for a two-family house, is now seeing $284, okay? And again, her single-family house, she used 3,800, and I said, listen, well, you're only 200 cubic feet difference, so you're pretty close to your bill here. And she understood. She said, yeah, I see a $20 difference there. I understand that. But, seeing that people who are conserving water, not watering their grass, and some people don't even have grass to water, and yet they're seeing that big increase. Now, Angelo says he knows a guy with 9 units, and I'm sitting here thinking about it at our kitchen table today, talking to her, and saying, wow, what goes on at, like, Royal Mills, Clyde Towers, anywhere that pays these water bills, and they're paying by unit, and they don't use a large amount of water, but now we're going to see that, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 increase. And here we are talking, and Angela, I know you've always said no tax increase. But this time around, this is much worse than than a tax increase. And that's why I'm a little,
You understand it costs $330 per unit to get the sewer, to give them that benefit. But it's costing $330 a unit to keep that one pipe, not because it's separated by 6 or 7 units. But, I didn't understand it that way, and neither did you the way you're talking. So
I don't think any of us understood it that
I
way.
would revisit it and see.
When they said per unit, I'm
But I
thinking,
still
I'm thinking per unit,
a
meaning
person
house.
just using 3,000 gallons of water should be charged a minimum of 4,000 because you're giving them a service where the sewer is making their properties double the value of what it is. So.
That was the point.
Right.
No, I'm not arguing that, but it's just, the 142, when I heard per unit, I'm thinking per sewer pipe. I'm not thinking, per house.
I did.
I'm
I
not
thought the
thinking
same
per
thing.
unit. So
So it was
now
my
a three-family house that uses 6,000 gallons of water is actually getting billed for 12,000 gallons. That's cubic feet, I'm
But
sorry.
each family is paying the minimum. That's what it is. Each unit is paying the minimum.
Yep.
And according to the calculations that they gave us, which, in writing,
No,
each household
I just want to make it clear
uses
that
this amount.
that's not how I took it, and maybe it's my fault for not asking more questions, or when I'm hearing unit, I'm thinking unit is a house, not how many units are in a house. So,
We'll review it.
I think we're gonna have to look at that.
All because the commission didn't want to raise the rate to what it actually costs to do this process.
I would argue that they've been trying to get a minimum.
Yeah.
All the other towns have a minimum, and there's a reason, because there are
Why wouldn't
fixed
it be
costs.
implemented the right way if other communities have already done this?
Say again?
Why wouldn't it be implemented the right way, like this whole unit argument?
This is the way other
They've been
communities do
using the
it, by
surplus
unit.
to supplement their budget.
This is exactly the way it's
I've been
done.
telling this for years.
And
Just like we use the pension money to supplement the budget.
yeah, and Bernie actually explained it this way.
Same
He said
thing.
every family, or whether it's a couple or even an
Right,
individual,
John?
he said X number of flushes in that household. And he explained it as per unit, and he said there are fixed costs with each unit,
I'm
and
talking
this
about
is
a
why.
duplex.
Yep.
Getting whacked twice now.
But they're 2 units.
Two families.
But
It's 2
again,
families.
prior to this per unit minimum usage, they weren't doing it that way. They were doing it by sewer usage of, like I said, that house went from $90, and she understands the debt service, she understood the phosphorus, she understood everything. The part she didn't understand was they never charged her $90 times 2, because that's what her bill was $90 times 2 units were in the building. Now you go at a minimum charge, she's now paying 0 on that line item for where she was paying 90, and now paying 284 because they're charging her times 2. That's how come I did not understand it, and that's why a lot of people started hitting social media with their bills, and my bill's totally different looking than everybody else's because I'm a well, so I couldn't answer the questions right away.
Right.
After doing my research between yesterday and today, Sunday till today, I'm like, wow, this is not how I took it and how it was presented. Maybe that's the way they presented it, but it's not how I took it. And again, that's why I was just saying, you know, we got to probably revisit this next year and say, you know, how are we going to do this? Should we raise the actual rate where everybody sees it right across? Because those minimum users who preserve water are now getting hit harder. You know, and I just went through this at Clyde Towers with their electricity. You know, they brought it up to me that, you know, they're getting a $42 credit in their rent for their electricity. And now, at the end of the month, they're going to take all the electricity, and it's going to be on Clyde Towers. And 50% of the people in there do not use $42 of electricity. So now they're going to lose the credit towards their rent, and they're actually going to see their rents go up because they're paying $18 a month in electricity. I hated to say it to them. I said, you know what? Use more electricity then. You know, they were saying they didn't use their air conditioners. Well, I don't want to tell people to start using more water. I mean,
That's the thing. It just goes
it's
against
just-
the philosophy of
it
being
goes-
green and like, I don't waste water. I try not to waste water.
You know,
What
gentlemen,
incentive
we
is
have to
there?
review then again.
I
Let's
think
look-
we do.
Let's look at the tape again. We can bring them in and explain it again. Keep in mind, the
yeah,
sewer
we
rate
canceled it tonight, that's why I
has
was.
not gone up probably 8
No,
years,
it
maybe. I
hasn't
think,
gone up.
I think
I thought we
Councilman
raised the
Padula
rate
just told me
last
it was
time.
like 50 cents 1 year, but it hasn't gone up because they have been using the surplus to supplement the budget. That's why it didn't go up. And that's just a fact. All right, so now that surplus is dwindling, and this is the money from construction, you know, what people paid.
Debt
you know,
service.
Debt service, and that's going down now because we're not having too much new pipe put in. So people aren't, they're paying it off.
They're gonna have to correct
So
me.
that money's not gonna be there anymore.
Fred,
And
I
this is
thought-
not new, this has
But
been
we
going
were-
on
we
for
were
years and
getting
years.
enough money from the outside
Yeah,
than
But-
our residents that live, the people that live in town.
Yeah.
Because we put up with the stench, we put up with the problems, and so obviously, we're not gonna charge the Coventry or Warwick or whoever else is hooked up to our plant, the same as where our residents are paying. And why should, and again, we all discussed it, why should we raise everyone's rates because it costs $330 to get a sewer pipe and give you that service, and you're not using it. So it's not fair for the other 95% of the people to pay their rates.
I agree. I agree.
So,
But
you know,
this
you-
time
you-
around,
you're
it's
damned if
it's
you do,
sticker shock right
and you're
now. This
damned-
year,
but
it's
yeah,
sticker shock.
I mean,
Yeah. It's, you know, is
everybody
it
can
is
say
it
what they
fair?
want to say, so.
According to the calculations that they gave us, this is equitable. It's fair, right across the board.
Like I said, I just misunderstood the word unit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking it was per house. So I understand there's a minimum usage per house. And, you know, if it went from 90 to 142, or 96 to 142, it'd probably be a little more palatable for that person when I tell them they're being charged for basic minimum use. But when you see minimum use times 2, where they were never charged by 2 last time, they were only charged by 1.
But if you use that logic, though, to use the 2 examples that were just given, you have a 2-unit, and you're saying, all right, if it's just by the building, they're only gonna go up this much. Now you have a 9-unit, I mean,
So,
where do you,
so
where do
the
you?
single
But
unit is
again-
paying for
Right.
this.
But
They're
again-
subsidizing it.
Exactly
But
right,
I
you're still
understand, no,
subsidizing.
but you could be wrong, because, for instance, that two-family house on Bradley Court used less water than her single-family on Harris Avenue. So she was only using 2,900 cubic feet of water, or sewage, as they call it, coming out, on the two-family home. Two single people live there, they take showers, they go to work, they come home. They don't water grass, they don't wash cars, they don't do laundry there. They go to Polyclean, or they bring them up to her parents' house on Harris Avenue. So she explained to me, my bill was $96 based on the water I used. Now, why would they give me a minimum usage times 2 when prior to this, they charged me $96 times 1? Now, she said, if they charged me $96 times 2 prior to the minimum usage, why would they charge me minimum usage times 2 now, and before they only charged me by 1?
How many water meters does she have?
She's got 1 water meter.
That's one.
1 water meter, it's part of her rental, but that's what I'm trying to say is, she showed me her bill, she's like, if they charge me $96 times 2 before, because debt service, they do charge by unit times 2. Okay, she showed me that, she goes, that's always been on my bill, I've never questioned that. She goes, but here it is last year, $96, that didn't charge me by 2. Now, this year, they're saying I have a minimum usage charge, which we thought was $142, which I can understand, but now they're charging my minimum usage by 2, where before they only charged her by 1, based on the water that was consumed in her house. Now it's times 2. That's my only gripe, and I understand, I fully agree with her 110% on how she explained to me and how we sat down at her kitchen counter today, and we discussed it. And I said, I understand. Now, she said, if they charged me by 2 before, at $96 each unit, I can understand that. But now, because I don't use 8,000 cubic feet of water, I'm well below it. She's 6,000, almost 50-something hundred below it. We're hitting her for $284.
Rather than the feds raising the gas tax 3 cents, let's just charge everyone $500 a car in their driveway. They use the roads.
Not a good analogy.
Why not?
No, I'm just saying, they didn't charge by 2 before, now they're charging by 2. That's my only concern. So every 2-family, 3-family, 4-family, they're all gonna see, especially people who conserve and don't, let's face it, a lot of 3, 4, 5, 6 families don't have a lot of yard. They're not watering their grass, they're not washing their cars. A lot of them don't supply washing machines.
You all listen to what Bernie said. If you flush the toilet once a day, if you wash 1 cup, if you don't do laundry, and you don't wash up at all, then you don't use the minimum. So,
Angelo,
when you
this
heard the facts,
this individual has grandchildren,
Some will be under, some will be over.
this
I
individual doesn't
understand,
wash her
you know
car,
what we're
but
doing now,
they
we're
do
not
their
acting
laundry and
on it.
shower.
We're just wasting another hour for something that we're not gonna.
No, I'm just bringing it up.
I mean, I told Ed this morning, if right in his ward, my friend, 9-unit house, 2,700 more. So, you know, tell that girl to be very satisfied that it's only 100.
You won't be knocking on his
No,
door.
she's on a fixed income, and you're
So
always,
is everybody else in town.
Angelo, you're always very vocal about not raising taxes.
I agree. I was
And
talking to Ed
If
before
you,
you even
you just
brought
have
it
to
up.
come up though, that's the only thing.
Come on.
You know, you're always saying, not raise taxes, don't raise taxes, but when they see $190 difference, that's, to them, is a big tax increase.
But we all seen the scenario of what it would be if you didn't do the minimum, if you went on everybody, everyone would have got hit, instead of a few that we're paying to have that sewer line. brought in the
Again,
house.
Angelo, I'm agreeing with the minimum charge, I'm not agreeing by unit. That's the only thing I'm saying.
I agree to that. I agree with you
Put
on
it on
that.
the agenda for the next.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We'll get some further
All
explanation.
right, let's move on. Anything else from the council? Any public comment? Speak now or forever hold your peace. We're not meeting until August
Motion
16th.
to,
I just want to remind everybody, TMO@westwarwickri.org.
what was that?
We need people to subscribe. Get out there.
Microphone.
What does this stand for?
Town Manager's Office.
Oh, thank you.
TMO@westwarwickri.org.
That's TMI.
Send that out there with on the subject line, newsletter, subscribe or subscription, whatever. All right, get on board, connect with West Warwick.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Amen.
Fred, can you check those
Aye.
emails right now?
Like that analogy?
Guys, for the next week, I'll be out of town. I'll be in New York from Monday
Oh,
to
yeah,
Sunday.
okay. Good point.
Angela, you hear that? I'll be out of town.